Chapter 45. After listening to Kakashi, Zhou looked at the 20 energy crystals the size of a pigeon's egg and couldn't help but ask, "Do you want to sell a few more of the treasures in the sacred palace of inheritance for some money? Is this little bit of crystal stones enough?" Kakashi thought for a moment and answered, "Actually, it's not that I don't want to sell a few more, but the treasures in the sacred palace of inheritance are mostly similar to the golden lotus sword flower. They require a certain level of skill to use them, otherwise their power will be vastly different. The people in the auction house won't care about this and will deliberately lower the price. Even if the rest are sold, they'll probably only be able to get around 1,000,000,000 star coins. It's really not worth it. Besides, if you take out so many treasures at once, what do you think others will think? Be careful not to get yourself killed." Hearing this, Zhou felt that Kakashi's words were reasonable, so he nodded to show that he understood. Then, he asked casually, "Then what did you sell for so much money?" Kakashi looked up at Zhou and answered, "I sold the laser gun and 3 weapons that should be worth a few billion star coins, but they're not suitable for you." Zhou. So the billions of star coins were exchanged with treasures worth a few billion star coins? Zhou was really speechless. "Sigh, whatever. Are you done with those things? Can we go now?" Zhou sighed helplessly and asked Kakashi. Kakashi heard this and said to Zhou, "Hey Zhou, didn't you say that you'll consider joining the 5 top forces after you're done?" Why do you want me to join the 5 top forces so much?" Zhou couldn't help but be puzzled. Kakashi explained, "Didn't I tell you before? You're too weak now. You have to reach the Star Lord level first before you can accept the many inheritances in the sacred ground, such as the 6 Paths World and the Supernatural Tower. Only Star Lords are qualified to come in contact with them." Zhou looked at Kakashi. Upon seeing Zhou's expression, Kakashi immediately understood what he meant and quickly explained, "Ah, this 6 Paths World is that ball, the transparent one." As Kakashi spoke, he gestured the size of the crystal ball. Zhou suddenly realized that Kakashi was referring to the transparent crystal ball that led to the realm of 6 paths, speaking of which, this 6 Paths World looks so ordinary. "How can we enter the 6 paths through it?" asked Zhou all of a sudden. Kakashi had no choice but to explain, "Sigh, don't judge it by its appearance. It looks like a crystal ball. Oh no, it's a crystal ball. But the extraordinary laws it contains are different. Do you understand? Transcendence laws of nature?" Zhou felt that Kakashi was getting more and more ridiculous. Seeing Zhou's reaction, Kakashi became a little anxious. He had to explain it clearly. It's... Look, the water is flowing downwards, right?" Zhou nodded. "Then why is the water flowing downwards?" asked Kakashi again. "The planet's gravity." "Then why does the planet have gravity? Does this have anything to do with the extraordinary laws you mentioned?" asked Zhou helplessly. "Of course it does. The planet's gravity is the law of the universe's operation. It is the supreme law. But the reason why transcendents are transcendents is because they can use their own power to create laws within a certain range. In the laws they create, the water can float up into the sky or move horizontally. You can also make it jump and walk even." Kakashi? When Zhou heard this, he felt like his head was about to explode. So, he stopped Kakashi and said, "All right, that's all for your explanation. I can't understand it anyway. I seriously suspect that you're telling a story or a fantasy novel." When Kakashi heard Zhou say this, he was so angry that his eyes bulged and his nose turned up. He could not help but comment on Zhou. Childish and shallow. Zhou did not expect Kakashi to say that to him. He immediately glared at him. However, before Zhou could say anything, Kakashi immediately shrank back in fear. He lowered his head and quickly said, "Big brother, I was wrong." Zhou was speechless. "What about the supernatural tower? What does it do?" Zhou Jie was not in the mood to argue with Kakashi, so he asked another question. Well, the supernatural tower. To put it simply, it's used to test your strength. There are 29 floors in the supernatural tower. If you pass them, you can become an elder or a guest of our sacred ground, replied Kakashi. Zhou Jie nodded to show that he understood. Then, he asked again, so, you're saying that you want me to join one of the top 5 forces and become a Star Lord as soon as possible? Then, you'll arrange for me to get in touch with more sacred ground inheritances? Hearing Zhou Jie's question, Kakashi was so excited that he hugged Zhou Jie's hand and said, Wow, Zhou Jie, this is the first time I've realized that you're so smart. Your guess is absolutely correct. So, you're saying that I've always been stupid in your eyes? Zhou Jie looked at Kakashi and asked. No, that's not what I meant. Well, hey, Zhou Jie, no, Jocko, let me explain. Kakashi was about to explain, but Zhou Jie simply walked away. Kakashi had to chase after him and try to defend himself. Soon, Zhou Jie walked to a big screen that happened to be playing an advertisement about the Bounty Hunter Alliance. This time, Zhou Jie paid special attention to the registration address and contact information at the bottom right corner of the advertisement and memorized it. Kakashi quietly followed Zhou Jie and stopped making a fuss. Zhou Jie then turned to Kakashi and said, Let's go to the 11th Golden Road, opposite the Swiss jewelry store. Oh, I'll call a taxi. Kakashi immediately said eagerly. Didn't you just buy a spaceship? Let's drive it, Zhou Jie said. Does the spaceship have an autopilot system? Kakashi was stunned. Zhou Jie said helplessly, I know how to drive a C-grade spaceship. A few minutes later, Zhou Jie arrived at the Bounty Hunter Alliance's registration area, opposite the Swiss jewelry store. It was an ancient palace-like building. Although it was called a palace-like building, it was actually just a hall of a palace. It was about 200 square meters. As soon as Zhou Jie entered, he saw a half-circle of counters inside. There were about 20 to 30 people coming and going. Many of them seemed to be doing some kind of business. As it was Zhou Jie's first time here, he did not know what these counters were for. He looked at the stone notice board at the side. There were many things written on it in the standard universal language and the universal language of Coiling Dragon. After reading the notice board, Zhou Jie scanned the counters and then went straight to an empty counter on the left. Kakashi also followed Zhou Jie to the counter. However, his height just happened to be above the counter, so he was directly ignored. Hello, I want to sign up for the Bounty Hunter Alliance. What do I need to do? Zhou Jie asked. Please show me your electronic identity card. The woman who accepted Zhou Jie's application replied to Zhou Jie. The so-called electronic identity card actually only had the effect of being on a local planet. When going to an alien planet, although most things did not require a local identity card, one would at least need to show one's own identity card. It was equivalent to adding a serial number in front of one's name to distinguish between duplicate names and the like. Therefore, Zhou Jie used the computer at the counter to show his electronic identity card. As an assassin, the card was naturally forged. Then, according to the requirements of the receptionist at the counter, he entered some information. Not long after, the receptionist took out a small custom-made badge and handed it to Zhou Jie, saying, Okay, you have successfully joined the Bounty Hunter Alliance. If you want to accept a higher-level mission, please go to the Bounty Hunter Alliance to take the Bounty Hunter level assessment. The specific information is on this piece of paper. You can take it back and read it. Okay, thank you. Zhou Jie took the badge and paper, thanked her, and left the registration area with Kakashi. Standing by the street, Zhou Jie skimmed the content on the paper, then frowned. Seeing this, Kakashi could not help but ask, Jocko, what did you write on that paper? Zhou Jie looked at Kakashi and handed him the paper, saying, It's more complicated than I thought. It's a bit troublesome. Chapter 46. After reading the content on the paper, Kakashi scratched his slightly curly black hair and said unconsciously, "So you have to take the bounty hunter level test to accept decent missions. If you don't take the test, you'll just be a probationary hunter and can only accept low-level missions. It's useless for you. Why don't we join another force? For example, the Star Sword Alliance. If you join them, especially as a member of the Genius Training Group, it'll be easier for you to become a Star Lord," Kakashi suggested to Zhou. However, Zhou shook his head and said, "No, it's more troublesome. Besides, I'm used to being controlled by others. It makes me feel insecure. That's why I left the Imperial Exterminator Organization." Hearing this, Kakashi nodded in realization. "Then do you still want to take the bounty hunter level test?" Zhou thought for a while and said, "Go ahead. Since I've started it, I'll finish it. I also need to train myself through some missions. The feeling of my old life is coming back." When Kakashi heard this, he couldn't help but nod to express his understanding. He knew that Zhou's feeling of the past life referred to when he was an assassin. There was also a period of time when he was constantly doing missions to hone himself. "Let's go to the Bounty Hunter Guild test," Zhou said and strode to the parking area of the spaceship not far away. "Okay, Jocko," Kakashi replied excitedly and followed Zhou. Zhou piloted the spaceship and directly navigated to the branch of the Bounty Hunter Guild test through the satellite positioning system of the spaceship. There were 5 levels of bounty hunters in the Bounty Hunter Alliance. From low to high, they were titled White Jade, Emerald, Gold, Diamond, and Black Gold. Different levels of bounty hunters corresponded to different levels of missions. The higher the level of the mission, the more difficult it would be. Only hunters with a certain level of strength could accept the missions. The bounty hunter level also depended heavily on the hunter's strength. Only with sufficient strength could one obtain the bounty hunter level and identity. As for the bounty hunter missions, there were 11 levels in total. From low to high they were Normal, D, C, B, A, S, SS, SSS, Epic, Legendary, and Mythical. Trainee hunters like Zhou, who had not obtained the bounty hunter level, could only accept normal level missions. White Jade Badge hunters could accept C and D level missions. Emerald Badge hunters could accept White Jade Badge hunters missions and missions that were 2 levels higher. Gold Badge hunters missions were 2 levels higher than Emerald Badge hunters, and so on. In order to accept legendary and mythical level missions, one must first become a hunter with a Black Gold Badge hunter. The Bounty Hunter Guild that Zhou arrived at was located in a grassy area. It was about 2 kilometers away from the city and appeared to be relatively desolate. The Bounty Hunter Guild was also designed and built in the style of an ancient palace. The exterior was dark and solemn, with a hint of gloominess. Zhou walked up the 4-meter-high stairs to the platform in front of the guild gate. Coincidentally, he saw a person walking out of the open gate. The person glanced at Zhou and hurriedly left. Zhou then realized that he had not seen any vehicles or pedestrians since he entered the grassy area. The person just now was the first person he saw here. Zhou judged from the energy waves in his body that the person was at least a level B, which was rare. However, Zhou did not pay too much attention to the person. He just slowed down a little. After sensing the person, he sped up and walked through the gate. The hall was very spacious, about 500 square meters or more. There were more people inside than Zhou expected, but it was not deserted. Zhou saw no less than 50 people at a glance. Some of them were the staff at the side of the counter, about 20 of them. The rest of the people were mostly gathered at the back of the hall where Zhou entered, near the right wall. Many of them were standing in front of the wall, browsing the contents of the paper nailed to the wall. Zhou was not surprised by this. A large force like this would not usually use the method of posting and accepting missions online. This was because there was a greater risk of information leakage. Moreover, the method was not serious enough. Moreover, the rewards of many missions were not virtual coins, but some special items such as pills, weapons, or even techniques and skills. This was because the bounty missions were directly determined by the person who posted them. After the rewards were verified by the Bounty Hunter Alliance, the Bounty Hunter Alliance would keep them safe. Although many people felt that this method was very risky, mainly to the person who posted the missions, it was proven that the Bounty Hunter Alliance had never received any complaints from the people who posted the missions or the bounty hunters in the past 1,600 years. Even if there were complaints, they were resolved very well. Zhou Jie also wanted to go to the back of the hall to take a look at the missions on the wall. However, he thought that he was new here and did not know many of the rules, so he went to the front desk to ask the staff first. After he learned that the situation was as he expected, he went to the last mission area. Zhou Jie first followed the staff at the counter and found his information file in a computer at the back. He opened some of the internal communication rights of the bounty hunters and then walked to the mission wall at the side. Jocko, are you going to look at what missions are suitable for you first, and then choose which level of hunter to rely on? Kakashi could not help but ask when he saw that Zhou Jie was not in a hurry to go to the back of the hall for the hunter level assessment. Instead, he was looking at the missions. Yes, Zhou Jie responded, but his eyes began to wander around the wall. Zhou Jie looked for a while and soon found that these missions were divided according to level. The area he was facing was filled with level C missions. At this time, Zhou Jie understood why the others were standing on his left side. It turned out that the missions on the left side were of a higher level, and level C missions were suitable for people around level C. Obviously, most of the bounty hunters in the Bounty Hunter Guild were experts, and their strength was mostly level B or above. Not many people would accept level C missions. Zhou Jie looked to the left and found that there were only 3 to 5 people in front of the level B mission area. Most of the people were gathered in the level A mission area, and there were even 7 or 8 people browsing in front of the level S and above mission areas. Zhou Jie thought for a moment, then walked straight to the leftmost side and stopped in front of the last column of the mission area. Why aren't there any mythical or legendary missions? Zhou Jie looked up and saw the words, Epic Mission, on the mission area wall in front of him. He could not help but feel puzzled. At this time, Kakashi pulled Zhou Jie's jacket and whispered to Zhou Jie, Jocko, those people are looking at you. Zhou Jie heard and looked to the right. He found that those who were looking at the missions and did not pay attention to him before were turning to look at him from time to time. Many of their eyes were filled with surprise. He was stunned for a moment, then quickly realized the reason. He did not pay attention to them and continued to look at the missions on the wall in front of him. Epic Mission. Content. Go to the Zerg planet to kill 2 Zerg kings and take their forearms. A total of 4 guilds in the Bounty Hunter Guild who accepted the mission. Requirements. At least rank X strength, the higher the better. The forearms of the Zerg must not be damaged. After accepting the mission, you can contact Galaxy Munitions Factory to send it to the Zerg planet. Complete the mission within a year after arrival at the Zerg planet. Overdue rewards will be halved, excluding VIP cards. Rewards: 1 billion star coins, Galaxy Munitions Factory VIP card, obtained by spending 1 billion star coins in our factory. 4 Grade E energy crystals, can be exchanged for 500 million star coins. Publisher: Galaxy Munitions Factory. Release time and deadline: XXX. Zhou Jie looked at the content of the first mission and was a little moved. The reward of this mission, to Zhou Jie, who had never been so rich before, was simply an unimaginable amount of wealth. When Zhou Jie finished looking at the mission, Kakashi also finished looking at it. He immediately grabbed Zhou Jie and said excitedly, "This mission is not bad. Let's not talk about the reward first. That Grade E energy crystal is not something that can be bought easily. At least we did not see the dragon vein treasure. Chapter 47. When Zhou heard Kakashi's words, he could not help but nod and say, "I understand." However, he did not directly accept the mission. Instead, he browsed through the remaining 4 missions. However, none of the quests in the Epic Quest area were simple. Their rewards were also incomparably generous. Zhou heart was moved time and time again. He even had a fleeting thought of accepting all of these quests. Just as Zhou finished reading these missions, Kakashi also finished reading them first. After thinking for a while, Kakashi pulled Zhou aside and suggested, "Zhou, why don't you accept this mission to capture a chivalrous expert? Look at the content of the mission. This chivalrous expert is on Coiling Dragon, and this mission was released less than a day ago. What a coincidence, it's practically prepared for you. The reward is as high as 5 billion star coins." When Zhou heard this, he glanced at Kakashi's mission and replied, "I won't accept this mission." Zhou reply inevitably stunned Kakashi. He immediately asked, "Why?" Zhou replied faintly, "Since he's a chivalrous expert, he's not an evil person. I have no enmity with him, so I have no reason to make things difficult for him." When Kakashi heard Zhou reply, he wondered if his system had short-circuited. "The question is, aren't you an assassin?" Kakashi could not help but ask again. The meaning of his question was very clear. Zhou glanced at Kakashi. His eyes were clear and confident. Then, he opened his mouth and said only 4 words, "There's a way to kill." The moment Zhou said these 4 words to Kakashi, Kakashi was suddenly stunned. An inexplicable sense of familiarity arose spontaneously, causing Kakashi to sink into memories. Zhou words made Kakashi try hard to recall, because he felt like someone had said something similar to him. After less than a second, Kakashi remembered that the person who had said something similar to him was his deceased master. Once, his master was the pride of his generation. He was invincible among his peers and looked down on them. He was also so confident, but his eyes were always so clear and bright. It was a kind of confidence and indifference. It was also a kind of embodiment of the innocence of a child who had experienced the vicissitudes of life. When he thought of his master like this, Kakashi suddenly felt a little sad. When he looked at Zhou again, he could not help but have a hint of something like admiration in his eyes. Jocko has the Imperial Universe bloodline. Maybe one day he will be as strong as Master, or even stronger than Master. When he thought of this, Kakashi's eyes lit up. Suddenly, he excitedly grabbed Zhou arm. "Jocko?" "Yes, what's the matter?" Zhou was just thinking about the selection of missions when he was suddenly pulled by Kakashi. He could not help but look down at Kakashi and ask. Kakashi was stunned when he saw this. He suddenly realized that he had nothing to say to Zhou, or rather, it was inconvenient to say it, so Kakashi laughed awkwardly and said, Nothing. I just suddenly feel that you're very handsome." Zhou. After about a minute, Zhou and Kakashi went to the back of the hall. That was the place where the hunter rank assessment was officially held. However, when Zhou walked a little further away, many of the bounty hunters who were still in front of the mission area began to talk among themselves. "Who's that guy? Do you know him?" "No, I've never seen him before. Maybe he's not from planet Panlong." "Is that kid a Crimson Gold hunter? He's been looking for epic tier missions all this time. Haha, I can't feel the strength of his aura. He should be an expert. But I see that he's going to the assessment area. Maybe he's going to take the Crimson Gold Hunter test. Then he's at least tier SS. Amazing, he looks so young. There's no shortage of geniuses in this world. It's just that it's not your turn yet." With Zhou hearing, he naturally heard some of the discussions, but he did not care. He went straight through the beaded curtain door and entered the back of the hall. The back of the hall was much larger than the front of the hall. It was divided into two areas. The area on the left took up about 2/3 of the back of the hall, and the area on the right only took up about 1/3. At this moment, about 20 people were gathered in the area on the left. Some of them were taking the hunter rank assessment, while others were undergoing training. Other than taking the assessment and accepting missions, the Hunter Guild could also conduct field training or exchange between hunters. There were also many speed and strength measuring machines scattered around the area. Zhou Jie had used them in the organization's base before, so he recognized them at a glance. On the right side of the field, there were only two people. One of them was sitting at a table by the side of the field, playing a computer game. The other was sitting cross-legged in the middle of the field, seemingly resting with his eyes closed. Zhou Jie judged that this person was at least an SS rank. Although an S rank could also fly for a short period of time and hover in the air easily, staying still for a long time was definitely not something an S rank could do easily. Then, Zhou Jie noticed a notice board on the side. The words on the board were telling newbies like Zhou Jie to go to the area on the left if they wanted to take the Crimson Gold Hunter test and below, and to go to the area on the right if they wanted to take the Crimson Gold Hunter test and above. The words were concise and clear. Zhou Jie walked to the area on the right without hesitation. Kakashi wanted to follow, but Zhou Jie quickly turned around and said to him, "Wait for me here. I should be there soon." "Okay." Kakashi nodded and obediently stayed where he was. Zhou Jie walked into the Crimson Gold Hunter test area and quickly attracted the attention of everyone on the left side of the area. "Damn, who is that guy? I've never seen him before. He's taking the Crimson Gold Hunter test? I've never seen him before either. I come here to train every day. Examiner Yuan, do you know that guy?" Someone asked Yuan Shu, who specialized in taking the Diamond Hunter test. Yuan Shu looked at Zhou Jie with some surprise and replied, "I've never seen him before. He's never taken the Hunter test here." At this moment, most of the people on the left side of the area stopped what they were doing and turned their attention to Zhou Jie. Even the hunters who were taking the test were stopped by the examiner. "The Crimson Gold Hunter test is rare." "Well, it's been a few years, right?" "It's been more than 10 years. There are still a few Diamond Hunters every year." While the crowd was still discussing, Zhou Jie had already contacted the examiner. "Hello, I want to take the Crimson Gold Hunter test. Is this the place?" Zhou Jie asked the young man who was playing a computer game. Hearing this, the young man's eyes widened as he stared at the computer screen. His face showed excitement, but he didn't immediately look up at Zhou Jie. Instead, he replied to Zhou Jie, "Wait a minute." Zhou Jie was taken aback when he heard this. He couldn't help but have some doubts, but Zhou Jie soon understood. A few seconds after the young man said this to Zhou Jie, the computer began to broadcast the battle situation in a low voice. The translation was, "Double kill, 3 kill, 4 hit transcendent, 5 hit unparalleled, 6 hit unparalleled." For more than half a minute, the computer didn't stop broadcasting. When the victory broadcast ended, the young man finally stood up and asked Zhou Jie excitedly, "You want to take the Crimson Gold Hunter test?" Zhou Jie nodded. "Yes." At this time, the middle-aged man with short black hair who was sitting in the middle of the field had already walked up to Zhou Jie. He asked the young man, "Julie, is he here to take the Crimson Gold Hunter test?" The young man named Julie nodded. "Yes, Brother Lin. Why don't you take the test?" The middle-aged man named Brother Lin glanced at Zhou Jie, who happened to be looking at him. Seeing Zhou Jie's calm expression, he somehow felt that Zhou Jie wasn't a simple person. So, he nodded at the young man and said, "Okay, I'm itching to try." So, the young man said to Zhou Jie, "Come, please show me your badge and give me your account number." Through the account number, the young man could access Zhou Jie's basic information in the Bounty Hunter Alliance to confirm Zhou Jie's identity as a hunter. After the test, the young man would enter his new hunter level information. After giving the young man his account number, Zhou Jie asked, "Can I start the test now?" When the young man heard the question, he glanced at Brother Lin. Seeing Brother Lin nod at him, he immediately said to Zhou Jie, "Well, let's begin. This examiner will assess you." Zhou Jie nodded and followed Brother Lin to the center of the field. The young man named Julie quickly went to the computer and entered Zhou Jie's account number. When Zhou Jie's information appeared on the screen, the young man was stunned. What? A normal hunter? Chapter 48. Julie stared at Zhou Jie's information on the screen in shock. His mouth was wide open in disbelief. But soon, Julie realized that Zhou Jie had only registered as a bounty hunter for less than an hour. He's taking the Crimson Gold Hunter test as soon as he joined. He's definitely an expert. Julie could not help but think to himself. Then, he looked at the field. Brother Lin was explaining the test to Zhou Jie. "The test is very simple," Brother Lin said as he rolled up the sleeves of his checkered shirt. Then, he waved his hand behind him. A black alloy stick that was leaning against the wall at the back of the field flew into his hand. "You only need to take one hit from me to become a Crimson Gold Hunter. However, Crimson Gold Hunters are divided into different stars. From 1 star to Samsung, the strongest is the Samsung Crimson Gold Hunter. If you can easily take the first hit, then I'll take the second. If you can take the second hit, then I'll take the third. If you can take all 3 hits, then you'll be a Samsung Crimson Gold Hunter. If you can only take 2 hits, then you'll be a 2-star hunter." "Understood," Zhou Jie replied in a manner that was neither servile nor overbearing. His eyes were calm from beginning to end, as if he did not take the examiner in front of him seriously at all. This made Brother Lin inexplicably unhappy. He wanted to test Zhou Jie's strength as soon as possible. "The weapons are at the back of the field. Choose for yourself. You can also use your own weapon. When you're ready, we'll begin," Brother Lin reminded when he saw that Zhou Jie was not moved at all. Zhou Jie heard him and said, "I'm ready." Brother Lin frowned slightly. Zhou Jie did not have any weapons with him. Could it be that he wanted to take the test with his bare hands? That was a little too arrogant. "Then let's begin. Be careful," Brother Lin said, no longer trying to persuade Zhou Jie. Zhou Jie heard him but did not react at all. He still stood less than 3 meters away from Brother Lin, calmly watching Brother Lin's every move. Swoosh! Brother Lin suddenly moved. With a stride forward, he swung his staff at Zhou Jie. The powerful force caused the alloy staff to distort. In the eyes of those below B rank, Brother Lin's staff was so fast that they couldn't even see his movements or the trajectory of the staff. Oh no, they couldn't see the staff at all. The staff was about to touch Zhou Jie's shoulder. Clang! However, just as Brother Lin was about to hit Zhou Jie's shoulder, the Kadi's blade shot out from Zhou Jie's waist and collided with Brother Lin's alloy staff. A crisp sound was heard. Surprisingly, Zhou Jie did not move, but Brother Lin's body shook and he took half a step back. Fortunately, the staff did not leave his hand. F***ck. Other than Brother Lin himself, the person who was most affected by this scene was Julie. He couldn't help but curse. Julie couldn't help but speculate, although Brother Lin only used 30% of his strength, this guy can't be more than a 1-star red gold rank. He might even be a Samsung. In the field, Brother Lin was also a little shocked. He looked at Zhou Jie in shock and found that Kadi's blade, which had just repelled him, had transformed into the form of a katana and was held by Zhou Jie. At that moment, his eyes couldn't help but shine, and his heart was filled with fighting spirit. Very good. Take my second strike. Brother Lin's body blurred as he spoke, and he swept his staff again without any fancy moves. Zhou Jie's expression remained unchanged this time. He pushed forward with the Kadi's blade and stepped back at the same time. Clang! Zhou Jie's body didn't even sway. He used a half-bow stance and held his saber with both hands to block Brother Lin's strike. Brother Lin, on the other hand, felt as if he had hit a Taiwu alloy plate, a material used in spaceships above grade F that even Star Lords couldn't damage. The recoil was so strong that he was forced to take a step back. However, Brother Lin didn't stop for long this time. He shouted angrily, "Third strike!" Whoosh! The third strike was slashed diagonally. The enormous energy contained in the staff made the air explode. Zhou Jie's eyes narrowed and his expression became a lot more solemn, but his movements were still clean and neat. He also blocked the attack with Kadiz's blade without any fancy moves. Chi! But this time, there was no loud sound of weapons colliding, because Kadiz's blade and the cudgel passed by each other. The tip of the cudgel flew straight out and smashed into the ground behind Zhou Jie, causing a burst of 3 feet of stone dust. The test was over. Zhou Jie looked at the staff in Brother Lin's hand that had been cut off and asked, "Sorry, do I need to compensate you for your weapon?" Brother Lin's eyes were still wide open. He glanced at the alloy stick in his hand and threw it behind him. After muttering something, he said to Zhou Jie, "There's no need for that. This loss is nothing to the Bounty Hunter Alliance. Why would we ask a 3-star Crimson Gold-ranked bounty hunter to compensate us?" "That's good," said Zhou Jie casually and put away the Kadi's blade. Brother Lin couldn't help but smile and say, "You're so young. I didn't expect you to be so strong. Even I'm not confident that I can beat you." Zhou Jie knew that Brother Lin hadn't used his full strength in the test, nor had he used any attack skills. However, wasn't it the same for Zhou Jie? He had roughly estimated Brother Lin's strength from the beginning. Brother Lin was a worthy opponent, but Zhou Jie was confident that he could kill him. Therefore, he was fearless. "You flatter me. The test is over. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave," said Zhou Jie. He was in a hurry to pick up the mission. Brother Lin didn't expect Zhou Jie to be so unreasonable. He wanted to leave right after the test. It was as if he didn't care about them at all. However, Brother Lin still smiled and said, "All right, but you'll have to wait until you get the Crimson Gold badge. With that badge, you can enjoy the convenient services of the organization in many places." "Yes, of course." Zhou Jie nodded when he heard this. A few minutes later, Zhou Jie received the Crimson Gold Hunter badge. Even with Zhou Jie's indifference, he felt that the Crimson Gold Hunter badge was very valuable. It was exquisitely made and beautiful. There were 3 stars engraved at the bottom. Zhou Jie knew that it represented his identity as a Samsung Crimson Gold Hunter. After that, Zhou Jie and Kakashi went to the epic mission area and accepted the mission of hunting the Zerg's forearm. They went to the counter to complete the relevant procedures and quickly left the Hunters Guild. However, Zhou Jie didn't know that right after he and Kakashi left, the back of the Hunters Guild hall was in an uproar. A group of hunters began to talk about him. On the other hand, Zhou Jie had already contacted the Galaxy Munitions Factory according to the mission. The Galaxy Munitions Factory immediately said that they would send someone to bring Zhou Jie to planet Zerg. "The people from the Galaxy Munitions Factory will be here in 2 hours. Let's find a place to have a drink first. After that, help me gather information about planet Zerg from the internet." After the contact, Zhou Jie said to Kakashi, who was next to him, "All right, no problem, Jocko." Kakashi replied with a childlike smile. Zhou Jie nodded and began to pilot the spaceship to the designated location. He planned to find a coffee shop or something there. 10 minutes later, Zhou Jie and Kakashi sat opposite each other at a table in a tea shop. They each took a sip of a drink that had just been served. Kakashi even excitedly picked up the snacks on the table and ate a few pieces. "Kakashi, how's the gathering of information going?" At this time, Zhou Jie remembered the important matter and asked. Hearing this, Kakashi finished the 2 pieces of chicken in his hand quickly and took a sip of the drink to smooth it out. Then he said, "I've checked. Speaking of which, this planet Zerg is not simple. What do you mean? Zhou Jie's interest was piqued when he heard this. His eyes narrowed slightly as he asked. So Kakashi continued, speaking of this planet Zerg, actually, this Zerg did not exist there 10,000 years ago. No one knows where they came from. Anyway, one day, a large number of Zerg creatures appeared on the so-called planet Zerg. Because someone discovered the Zerg and brought them to their own planet, it caused a huge disaster. After that, an even bigger disaster happened. Why do I feel like you're narrating a movie? Can you just tell me what happened? Zhou Jie rolled his eyes at Kakashi and asked. Okay. Actually, I just want to narrate more in a storytelling atmosphere. Kakashi explained and then continued. Creatures like Zerg have terrifying reproductive and evolutionary abilities. Didn't you just say that someone brought a few Zerg back to their own planet? It was those few Zerg that were brought back that actually turned the planet into a paradise for Zerg in just a year. The people on that planet became Zerg food. Chapter 49. When Zhou Jie heard this, he could not help but be slightly moved. It sounded like an invasion of alien species, but this was actually the result of a few Zergs brought back by the people of that planet. Since those few Zergs were brought back, it must be because the people of that planet did not think that those few Zergs were much of a threat, but in the end those few Zergs caused the entire planet to fall. It was really unbelievable. When Kakashi said this, he was afraid that Zhou Jie would not believe him, so he added, "There are still pictures left on the internet." The number of Zergs on that planet later multiplied to the point that they filled the coast. There were also giant Zergs, more than twice the size of whales. Wow, it looks so exciting, so big! As Kakashi said this, he used his hands to gesture outside the floor-to-ceiling window. What happened to those Zergs in the end? They should have been destroyed, right? Zhou Jie regained his calm and said lightly. Anyway, he did not believe that the Zergs could not be dealt with by the human technology there. After all, at least that planet's aerospace technology was mature. Hearing this, Kakashi said, "Well, later, the Federation star system where that planet was located learned of this situation and quickly implemented a rescue, but the situation was not optimistic. The Zerg's vitality was extremely tenacious, and their reproductive ability was so strong. In short, it took many years and a huge price for the Federation star system to help the people on that planet control the damage caused by the Zergs, so that the people on that planet could survive. But this was just the beginning," Kakashi said again. "What happened on that planet only let the Federation star system know the horror of the Zergs, so they began to organize teams to go to the Zerg planet, hoping to further understand the reproduction and evolution characteristics of the Zergs so that they could better research and create weapons to deal with the Zergs. Unfortunately, in the end, all this was in vain. Instead, the existence of the Zergs became more and more known. Later, an evil interstellar pirate king appeared and thought of using the powerful vitality and evolutionary ability of the Zergs for his own use, so he also began to study the Zergs. Later, he really succeeded in controlling all the Zergs on the Zerg planet. He also merged with the Zerg Queen and became an inhuman monster. From this, he also obtained extremely terrifying vitality and evolutionary ability, which made his strength change dramatically. This was the beginning of the real nightmare of the Federation star system. The Pirate King himself was very powerful and was a Star Lord. Very few people in the Federation star system could make him afraid. After he controlled the Zergs, he became even more unscrupulous and began to directly try to control all the life planets in the entire Federation star system. Kakashi paused and took a sip of his drink before continuing. Speaking of which, the Federation star system finally gathered all its forces to fight against the Pirate King, but in the end they were still defeated. Many planets were invaded by the Zergs, and the people were in an abyss of suffering. Finally, one day, Kakashi suddenly raised his voice, startling Zhou Jie, who was originally speechless. A man named Li Feng appeared. He wore silver armor and held a silver moon saber in his hand. He single-handedly killed thousands of Zergs and killed his way to the Pirate King. He said one thing to the Pirate King, and this sentence was recorded in the history of that star system. When Zhou Jie heard this, he lowered his head and took a sip of his drink, appearing extremely indifferent. Kakashi saw Zhou Jie's indifferent look and was immediately discouraged. He continued, "Well, that Li Feng said, I will not allow you to destroy the home I protect." Then Li Feng raised his saber and directly cut down the Pirate King. All the Zergs controlled by the Pirate King instantly lost control and even killed each other. After that, they were suppressed by the people of the Federation's star system. This Li Feng was later praised as the war god of blades in that star system. He was also written in a history book called Legend of the Heroes of the Galaxy. He was really cool. Kakashi finished excitedly, took another sip of his drink and smacked his lip. Seeing that Kakashi had finished, Zhou Jie slowly looked up at Kakashi and said, "The story is not bad. As long as you have the information about the Zergs, that's enough. Summarize it for me and I'll take a look myself." "Okay, Jocko." When Kakashi heard this, how could he not know that Zhou Jie meant that he had just said a bunch of nonsense? He just wanted to know about the Zerg's combat power. As for the story about the Zergs, what was the use of telling him? "Right, that Li Feng, what do you think his strength is?" Zhou Jie suddenly asked again. Although he was not very interested in the story of the Zergs, he was still very sensitive to the strong. Therefore, he asked this question. When Kakashi heard this question, he immediately replied excitedly, "It's also on the internet." After that, star system technology developed again and connected to the Star Zone network. Someone did some research and finally concluded that Li Feng should have reached the Horde leader level. That's why he was so strong. Horde leader level? Zhou Jie asked subconsciously. He frowned slightly as if he was thinking about something. One slash from the Horde leader level can split the mountains and split the seas? Zhou Jie suddenly asked again. Kakashi immediately understood Zhou Jie's thought. He was a little disgusted, but he still said, "Split the mountains and split the seas? That 9-star lord can do it. Horde leaders and star lords are on completely different levels. One slash from a Horde leader level can split a planet in half, and this is when he just entered the Horde leader level. If he was a 6-domain Horde leader, he can split a star in half with one slash." Zhou Jie. Kakashi saw that Zhou Jie was a little shocked and felt a little proud. Then, he thought of something and hurriedly added, "The Star Lord level is divided into 9 stars, and the Horde leader level is divided into 6 domains. I'll tell you when you reach that level." "Okay, I got it." Zhou Jie nodded, seeming somewhat powerless. Indeed, the strength of these realms mentioned by Kakashi made Zhou Jie yearn for them, but at the same time, he also felt that he was too far away, and felt somewhat powerless to reach them. 2 hours later, Zhou Jie and Kakashi boarded the shuttle sent by the Xinghe Munitions factory. They were expected to arrive at planet Zerg in about a month. During the 1-month journey, Zhou Jie naturally did not choose to relax. Instead, he trained crazily for more than a month in the gravity control room provided by the shuttle, using the 100 times standard gravity provided by the gravity control room. The standard gravity of each star field or sector was slightly different, but most were less than 10 N. When Zhou Jie was informed that they were about to arrive at planet Zerg, he came out of the gravity control room. His muscles were overflowing with light, as if they were made of fine iron. However, this was also a kind of radiation released after the high-level energy in his body was compressed. It made him look like he was glowing, and it gave ordinary people a strong sense of oppression. When Kakashi saw Zhou Jie's shirtless appearance at the door, his eyes almost popped out. His eyes seemed to be glowing, which made Zhou Jie feel a little confused. A few minutes later, Zhou Jie finished his shower, put on the netherworld battlesuit, and came to the front of the shuttle. At this time, the shuttle was about to land. At this time, a beautiful woman in a military green uniform came forward and said respectfully to Zhou Jie, "Sir, the shuttle is about to land. Please be prepared. If there is anything you need, you can tell us now. We will do our best to prepare it for you." Hearing this, Zhou Jie thought for a while and looked at Kakashi. Seeing that Kakashi was looking at him without saying anything, he said without turning his head, "I don't need anything, thank you." Soon after, the shuttle landed. After the hatch opened, Zhou Jie and Kakashi got off the shuttle. When Zhou Jie stepped on the rocky surface of the Zerg planet, he realized that the gravity of the Zerg planet was much stronger than normal planet. As for the almost oxygen-free environment due to the thin atmosphere, Zhou Jie already knew about it, but he didn't care. With his strength, he didn't need to breathe oxygen anymore. He was used to the vacuum of space because he had simulated it when he was an assassin. However, due to the supergravity and thin air, Zhou Jie lost the ability to fly here. P.S. Cultivators below the Star Lord level mainly rely on their mental power to control the wind and carry their own weight. However, mental power is a soul-type energy, and there is a big difference between the effect of mental power on living and dead things. Because living things have souls, they can resist the influence of mental power. Therefore, although Zhou Jie could unleash dozens of tons of force with his mental power, he couldn't even fly on the Zerg planet. This is also why Zhou Jie can't use his mental power to directly kill cultivators 2 or 3 levels weaker than him. Zhou Jie and Kakashi didn't walk far before the shuttle took off and left. Zhou Jie wasn't worried. With Kakashi there, he could contact them to pick him up at any time, but of course that would be after he finished the mission. Let's go. Zergs generally live in groups, and hunting is also a group activity. Let's find a Zerg first, then we can follow the vine to find the melon. Zhou Jie greeted Kakashi and took the lead to walk to the side. Chapter 50. Kakashi quickly followed and scanned the surrounding environment. He said to Zhou Jie, "Jocko, there's water nearby. If there's water, there should be Zergs." Zhou Jie stopped when he heard this. Only then did he remember that Kakashi was still a super artificial intelligence. Its detection ability was stronger than his perception, so he immediately asked, "Where is the water? Lead the way." Kakashi nodded and said, "Follow me, it's here." After saying that, Kakashi trotted to the side, and Zhou Jie followed him in a flash. 2 minutes later, Zhou Jie followed Kakashi for almost a kilometer. They went over a hill and saw a small stream not far away. "I didn't expect you to run so fast," Zhou Jie suddenly said to Kakashi. Kakashi heard and said matter-of-factly, "Of course, my legs are long." Zhou Jie glanced at Kakashi's legs under his black suit pant. Compared to Kakashi's height, his legs were really long, but Kakashi was not even 1 meters tall. Zhou Jie did not say anything, but turned to look at the stream not far away and said, "Let's go and see if we can find any footprints of Zergs." Hearing this, Kakashi responded, and the two of them came to the edge of the stream. The stream was very clear. Zhou Jie even saw a palm-sized soft-bodied creature at the bottom of the stream. It looked very strange, and Zhou Jie did not know what kind of creature it was. Kakashi also saw the strange soft-bodied creature, but he said, "The Zerg planet is still a primitive planet. Other than the Zergs, there are basically some invertebrate. There are also reptiles, but they have been eaten by the Zergs long ago." Zhou Jie did not say anything. He scanned the sides of the stream carefully and finally found some obvious footprints of life. Zhou Jie stepped to the other side of the stream and came to a broken rock surface. He squatted down and looked. Kakashi also came behind Zhou Jie at this time. After seeing the rock surface that Zhou Jie was looking at, he said, "This must be left behind by a large Zerg. There are not many Zergs that can break a rock surface with 1 foot. The Zerg King you are looking for belongs to this kind of Zerg. Zhou Jie stood up, as if he didn't hear Kakashi's words. He stepped forward and walked quickly to the side. Zhou Jie had only taken a few steps forward when Kakashi suddenly shouted at Zhou Jie, "Hey Jocko, I found a Zerg." However, Zhou Jie did not stop. Instead, he lowered his voice and shouted, "Follow me." After a while, Zhou Jie and Kakashi climbed over a few hills and saw a huge rock mountain about 100 meters away. The rock mountain was more than 1,000 meters wide. Its height was average, only about 100 meters. The mountain peaks were naturally low, but there were many of them, making it look very rugged. Kakashi saw the rock mountain and immediately said to Zhou Jie, "Jocko, that should be the Zerg nest. I can sense a lot of life energy inside." Zhou Jie nodded slightly and then said, "I don't know if there is a Zerg King here. Kakashi, do you think it's better to rush in directly or find a way to lure the Zerg out?" Kakashi was startled by the question. He immediately said to Zhou Jie, "Jocko, don't be kidding. We will die if we rush in. Don't be fooled by the fact that most of these Zergs don't have the combat power of Grade B. With such a large number, even an Grade S expert would not be able to withstand their siege. Besides, in such a large nest, there must be large Zergs with the combat power of Grade A and above. Some Zergs can also spray corrosive venom. If there is a Zerg King General with the combat power of Grade X, then we probably won't be able to get out," Kakashi added. Zhou Jie immediately realized that what he had just said was stupid. He nodded and said, "Then let's find a way to lure them out and attack me. There are high grounds here, which are easy to defend and hard to attack." This time, Kakashi also nodded and said, "Okay, that's safer. Kakashi, you said that your body is so tough that even Star Lords can't hurt you, right?" Zhou Jie asked Kakashi at this moment. Kakashi was about to nod when he suddenly noticed that Zhou Jie was looking at him in a weird way. He was stunned and said with a stiff smile, "Well? Yes, Jocko, you don't want me to lure the Zergs, do you?" Unexpectedly, Kakashi really asked. Zhou Jie nodded without hesitation. "Yes, they can't hurt you anyway. Isn't that great?" I'm so scared." Kakashi suddenly trembled. Zhou Jie was speechless. He suddenly said, "I suspect that you are a girl." This time, Kakashi jumped up and said, "Who said that?" "I, Kakashi, am a man. I'll go." Zhou Jie was dumbfounded. About a minute later, Kakashi was chased by a few giant scorpion Zergs at the entrance of the Zerg's nest. However, a few Zergs were definitely not enough. Hence, Kakashi started to yell. At the same time, he ran and shouted at the Zergs passing by, "Come here!" Therefore, after another minute or so, Kakashi ran a circle around the Zerg nest, and was successfully chased by hundreds of Zergs of different sizes and type. Moreover, there was an endless stream of Zergs coming out of the Zerg nest after hearing the commotion and gathering into the large group that was chasing Kakashi. With such results, Kakashi could be considered to have succeeded. He immediately ran towards the narrow highland where Zhou Jie was and shouted at Zhou Jie, "Jocko, save me, ah!" Zhou Jie stood up from the top of the highland and took in the number of Zergs chasing Kakashi in one glance. He estimated that there were at least 1,000 Zergs. Instantly, his face became extremely serious. At this moment, Kakashi's running speed was faster than a cheetah. Even the fastest 8-legged Zerg could not catch up with Kakashi. Therefore, Zhou Jie was not worried about Kakashi's safety. As long as Kakashi ran past his position, the rest would naturally be left to him to handle. With the blade of Kadi's in hand and the spiritual force field fully activated, the 100 meters around Zhou Jie instantly became so quiet that there was not even a trace of wind. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. The golden lotus sword flower dispersed into 144 golden swords and divided into 4 groups. Each group had 36 golden swords, forming a triangular sword formation. They appeared in the front, back, left, and right of Zhou Jie respectively, ready to attack at any time. "Jocko, it's all up to you." Kakashi ran past Zhou Jie. Some of the Zergs behind him were already close to the highland and were less than 100 meters away from Zhou Jie. Among them, the 8-legged Zergs, spider form, had the fastest moving speed, exceeding 20 meters per second. They quickly advanced towards the highland. At this moment, Zhou Jie activated a group of golden swords in front of him and launched an attack on the first batch of 8-legged Zergs. Puchi, 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 the triangular sword formation, formed by the 36 golden swords, was like a bolt of golden lightning. It instantly shot into the body of an 8-legged Zerg and scattered out of its body. In the blink of an eye, the 8-legged Zerg was covered in wounds and fell to the ground. Its 8 legs were twitching, and it looked like it was about to die. Zhou Jie followed the same pattern and used 4 triangular sword formations together. In less than 10 seconds, 12 8-legged Zergs were killed halfway up the slope. However, there were more than 50 8-legged Zergs rushing towards him. Zhou Jie did not have the time to kill them all before they got close. After the triangular sword formation pierced through a few more 8-legged Zergs, a few fearless 8-legged Zergs finally jumped back and pounced towards Zhou Jie. However, Zhou Jie did not panic. The 144 golden swords shrank into a semi-arc and gathered in front of him. Then, in an instant, they shot out and pierced the 8-legged Zergs in mid-air. However, the vitality of Zergs was generally strong. Just a few small piercing wounds were not enough to cause them to die quickly. Therefore, Zhou Jie was already prepared. He slashed a few times with the blade of Cadiz and chopped the few 8-legged Zergs in front of him into pieces. The dark green blood of the Zergs scattered across the sky. This time, seeing the bodies of their companions being directly torn apart, the Zergs at the back instantly felt fear. They stopped and retreated down the slope. Previously, when the golden swords pierced through the 8-legged Zergs, they did not die immediately and did not bleed much. Therefore, the 8-legged Zergs with average intelligence did not feel fear. Chapter 51. However, this did not mean that Zhou Jie had scared off a large group of Zergs just like that. The different types of Zergs had different functions and positions in the Zerg system. The difference in strength between each type was also very huge. The strength of the 8-legged Zergs could only be considered below average in the Zerg community. Hence, their casualties only scared off a large portion of the weaker Zergs. Although these Zergs had gradually stopped charging forward, they also started to retreat to the sides, opening up an obvious path. This allowed some of the giant scorpion Zergs and giant crocodile head Zergs to rush to the front and continue to close in on Zhou Jie at the top of the slope. Poisonous scorpion Zergs and crocodile teeth Zergs are all A-class Zergs. However, in such a situation, even an S-class Zerg can only flee at the sight of them. It is impossible to fight against them. Zhou Jie had read a lot of information about Zergs in detail. Naturally, he could recognize the different types of Zergs in front of him. Poisonous scorpion Zergs and crocodile teeth Zergs could be said to be the 2 most powerful types of Zergs in this batch. More than 50 poisonous scorpion Zergs and crocodile teeth Zergs took the lead and rushed up to the high ground. The Zergs behind them, who were originally afraid, no longer swarmed forward. They looked like they were going to crush Zhou Jie into pieces. It had to be said that facing such a Zerg tide, Zhou Jie also felt a lot of pressure. When the poisonous scorpion Zergs and crocodile teeth Zergs were about 100 meters away from him, he controlled the golden lotus sword and turned it into a rain of sword. Like a net filtering a school of fish, it pierced towards the Zergs that were gathered together. Regardless of whether it was the poisonous scorpion Zergs or crocodile teeth Zergs, their scales were comparable to steel. Under the scales there was a thick membrane. The defense on their backs was enough to withstand super armor-piercing bullet. Zhou Jie even had some understanding of their structure and knew that their weak point was the abdomen that was close to the ground. However, Zhou Jie's golden lotus sword still descended from the sky and chose to directly pierce through the poisonous scorpion zergs and crocodile teeth zergs. The terrifying strength of a rank X was not to be underestimated. Wherever the golden lotus sword flower passed by, the venomous scorpion zerg and crocodile tooth zerg's bodies were instantly pierced through. Their strong vitality was rapidly drained away. After charging forward for a while, they crashed onto the ground. However, just like the previous 8-legged zergs, this did not scare off the venomous scorpion zergs and the crocodile tooth zergs. They continued to pounce forward, even crushing the corpses of their comrades. They charged towards Zhou Jie without any regard for their lives. With the blade of Cadiz in hand, Zhou Jie instantly disappeared from the spot and pounced on the nearest venomous scorpion zerg, Pucci. The slash was clean and neat. As the venomous scorpion zerg's body was comparable to an adult bull, Zhou Jie only needed to lower his body to be able to slice the blade of Cadiz into its abdomen. With the sharpness of the blade of Cadiz, Zhou Jie was able to slice this venomous scorpion zerg effortlessly. However, the strong vitality of the venomous scorpion zerg prevented it from dying even though half of its body was sliced off. This venomous scorpion zerg that was sliced by Zhou Jie instead let out a strange, ear-piercing screech and used its thick tail to attack Zhou Jie at lightning speed. Of course, Zhou Jie would not choose to engage in a battle of attrition. With his slash just now, the death of this venomous scorpion zerg was only a matter of time. His attack succeeded. When the venomous scorpion zerg was waving its tail, he pierced through the back of another venomous scorpion zerg like a gust of wind. Along the way, he used the blade of Cadiz to slice open its abdomen. The energy of the blade entered the zerg's body and destroyed most of its vitality. Swish, swish, swish. Pucci, Pucci, Pucci. Zhou Jie was like a gust of wind shuttling through the group of zergs. Wherever he passed, the zergs would immediately attack fiercely in one direction. After that, their bodies would twitch, and not long after, they would crash onto the ground and die. At this time, Kakashi was hiding behind a rock at the back of the slope. He stuck his head out and looked at the top of the slope from time to time. After making sure that Zhou Jie had blocked the large group of zergs, he sat down on the ground and patted his little belly with his hand. Oh my, that really scared me to death. Luckily, Jocko was able to hold on. Otherwise, he would have been kicked around like a ball by that group of zergs. Just thinking about it is scary. After sitting for a while, Kakashi got up. He was hesitating whether to go to the top of the slope to watch Zhou Jie's battle. Suddenly, his expression changed, from calm to frightened in an instant. F***ck, what's wrong with these zergs? They even know how to surround and attack? The reason why Kakashi said this and his expression changed drastically was because he had just detected a large number of Zerg's life energy rushing past the left and right sides of the slope. They were starting to gather behind Zhou Jie where he was. After the shock, Kakashi quickly thought of a possibility. This made the corner of his mouth twitch. Holy sh**t, I actually encountered a Queen Zerg's nest. The reason why Kakashi was so shocked was that the situation of Zerg nests had to be explained. Zerg nests were generally divided into 3 types. One was a normal nest, one was a Queen Zerg nest, and the last type was a Queen Zerg nest. But first of all, the Queen Zerg nests on the Zerg planet were still under the control of the Federation star system. The Federation star system had specialized personnel who were in charge of looking after them and conducting some secret research. Outsiders who came to the Zerg planet could not easily get close to the Queen Zerg nest. As for the remaining 2 types of nests, most of them were normal nests, and the Zerg Queen's nests were relatively rare. Especially once a Zerg's nest was discovered, the Zerg there would quickly migrate to another place. For Zhou Jie to see such an obvious nest, and the probability of it being a Zerg Queen's nest, That was really, his luck was not too bad. The reason why Zerg nests were divided into Queen Zerg nests and normal nests was because Zergs were mainly born from Queen Zerg. Then, the Zergs born from the Queen Zergs would self-mate and reproduce. From there, they would continue to produce offspring and evolve into new species. Therefore, the Zergs in normal nests could be said to be offspring Zergs. They were generally weaker and less intelligent. Meanwhile, the first-generation Zergs of the Queen Zerg nest, including the Queen Zerg itself, were quite intelligent. They even had specialized brain Zergs, whose intelligence exceeded that of ordinary adult. They could specifically command other Zergs with lower intelligence. The reason why Kakashi believed that they had encountered the Zerg Queen's nest was because those Zergs that had surrounded them were 100% under the command of the brainworm Zerg. That was why they had done so. I have to tell Jocko about this as soon as possible. Our luck is too bad. Although there must be a Zerg King General in the Queen Zerg nest, even a Star Lord would have trouble dealing with so many first-generation Zergs working together. I don't think even Jocko can handle it, Kakashi said. He no longer cared about the Zergs in front of him and ran towards the top of the slope. Half a month ago, on the Black Feather planet of the Blue River Galaxy, the Blackbird Assassin Organization of the Black Feather planet had a higher status in the Blue River Galaxy than the Imperial Assassin Organization in the Silver Galaxy. At this moment, on the rooftop of the central building of the Blackbird Assassin Organization's headquarters base, the founder of the Blackbird Assassin Organization, the Black Feather Planet Master, was sitting face to face with Raka and Kane. This person called Zhou Jie recently became a pure gold hunter in the Bounty Hunter Alliance. I happen to be the vice president of the Bounty Hunter Alliance branch. His information was specially sent to me. You two, take a look and see if he's the Zhou Jie you're looking for. The Black Feather Planet Master was wearing a black robe. His face was as delicate and fair as a handsome man in ancient times. As he spoke, he looked very languid. Deep in his long and narrow eyes, there seemed to be a frightening fierce light flashing constantly. Hearing this, Raka picked up the information on the table and read it carefully. Immediately, his eyes shone with excitement and his body trembled as he said, "Yes, yes, it's him. It's him, Zhou Jie." However, Raka was only excited for a moment before he fell into shock again. But that's not right. How can he be a Class X? I fought with him less than 3 months ago. At that time, he was at most Class S. How can he become so strong so quickly? Kane was also very shocked at first. Hearing this, he suddenly thought of something and frowned. If I remember correctly, Zhou Jie was only a Class A when he betrayed the organization. That was less than 4 months ago. Kane's words completely reminded Raka. He immediately thought about it and realized that it was indeed the case. This time, he was even more shocked. How is that possible? He grew so fast after leaving the organization? The Black Feather Planet Master narrowed his eyes. Seeing this, the corners of his mouth rose slightly and a strange smile appeared. According to what you said, this Zhou Jie is indeed very interesting. You want me to kill him? I'm suddenly very interested. But the price now might have to be raised a little. Chapter 52. When Raka heard what the Black Feather Star Master said, he immediately said excitedly, "As long as you can kill Zhou Jie, I, Raka, am willing to follow you for the rest of my life and serve you faithfully." Raka. Hearing Raka's straightforward words, Kane, who knew him well, was shocked. He even thought that Raka was crazy and wanted to remind him. However, when Raka saw Kane's reaction, he said to Kane forcefully without turning his head, "Since I have found Zhou Jie, this may be the last chance for me to avenge my brother. No matter what, I don't want to let this go. Moreover, you know about Zhou Jie's situation. He has grown so fast. If we let him live today, perhaps one day, the Imperial Exterminator Organization will be destroyed because of him." Kane's body shook when he heard that, but he didn't say anything in the end. When the Black Feather Star Master heard that Raka was willing to follow him, he was also very happy. Although he was a Star Master and had more than 1 or 2 strong men like Raka and Kane as his subordinates, they only submitted to his powerful strength. There was no one who was truly loyal to him and would follow him. Therefore, for the Black Feather Star Master to follow someone like Raka, who had the potential to reach the peak of level X in the future, was something that could only be found by chance. This was not only because Raka was useful to him, but also because it could show his own charm. The Black Feather Star Master naturally desired it. Therefore, the Black Feather Star Master smiled even more brightly. He nodded and said, "Very good. If you are willing to follow me, then I will definitely help you get rid of Zhou Jie." "Thank you, Star Master. I, Raka, hereby swear that I will be loyal to the Black Feather Star Master and will never betray you," Raka said immediately. His expression was still cold. Zerg Planet. Pucci Zhou Jie was like the afterimage of the Grim Reaper. Wherever he passed, dark green Zerg blood kept splattering. Occasionally there were Zerg's broken limbs flying. The Zerg's ear-piercing and deep cries resounded throughout the high ground. One by one, the venomous scorpion Zergs and giant crocodile Zergs were killed by the Kadi's blade. The more Zhou Jie killed, the faster he became. Finally, the Zergs felt fear again. This time, whether it was the venomous scorpion Zergs, giant crocodile Zergs or other Zergs, they all began to flee. Zhou Jie wanted to take the opportunity to catch up and kill a few more Zergs, but he was blocked by a group of flowery-mouth Zergs, also known as Grenadier Zergs, who spat out corrosive venom from their mouth. Zhou Jie had no choice but to retreat back to the high ground and continue to occupy the advantageous terrain, waiting for the Zergs to make their next move. At this moment, Kaka ran to the top of the slope and saw that Zhou Jie had just defeated the Zerg. He hurriedly shouted, Jocko, something is wrong, something is wrong." Zhou Jie heard Kakashi shouting behind him. He could not help but be shocked. He turned around and asked, "What's going on?" Therefore, Kakashi told Zhou Jie about the situation, that he was about to encircle the Zergs, and explained that it was very likely that they had encountered the Zerg Queen's nest. The Zergs in the Zerg Queen's nest are too scary. "Jocko, I'm afraid you can't deal with them alone. Let's retreat first and think of a way to find the Zerg Queen later," Kakashi finally suggested anxiously. Zhou Jie also frowned when he heard that. He hesitated for about a second and said, "Okay, let's retreat first." In this kind of situation, if it was a person who lacked rationality, he might choose to continue killing because he was too engrossed in killing and relying on his strength to lure the Zerg Queen out. However, as an assassin, Zhou Jie was very clear about the consequences of choosing to continue fighting in this kind of situation. Just like what Kakashi said, the Zerg Queen's nest was not to be trifled with. If the Zergs really completed their encirclement, just killing their way out now could become a problem. After making the decision, Zhou Jie directly jumped down the slope in the direction where Kakashi was. He jumped straight to the halfway position of the slope. After a mid-air roll to reduce the force, he landed on the ground and rushed out like lightning. "Wow, Jocko, wait for me." Kakashi was shocked when he saw that. He immediately reacted and ran madly towards Zhou Jie. It was not that Zhou Jie did not care about Kakashi. The main reason was that Kakashi was invulnerable and immune to all poisons. The Zergs could not hurt him. Therefore, in the current situation, he still chose to escape the encirclement of the Zergs first. When the time came, if Kakashi could not escape in time, he would turn back to save him. Not long after Zhou Jie started to escape, the Zergs that were originally repelled by Zhou Jie suddenly seemed to be controlled by something. They swarmed forward again and started to cross the high ground and surround Zhou Jie. "Oh no, it's too late." Zhou Jie ran down the high ground and quickly went over a hill. However, in the process of going down the hill, he saw many Zergs of all sizes climbing up the hill. They were densely packed on the hill. Moreover, on the left and right sides of the hill, a large number of zergs also appeared. In addition to the zergs that were surging from the high ground behind him, Zhou Jie's 4 escape routes were completely blocked in an instant. Therefore, Zhou Jie simply stopped in his tracks. He stood at the top of the hill and coldly scanned the countless zergs that were beginning to shrink the encirclement. At this time, Kakashi also jumped up from behind Zhou Jie. Seeing that Zhou Jie had stopped, he supported Zhou Jie and was about to catch his breath. Then, he saw the densely packed zergs coming from the opposite side of the hill and below. He immediately sucked in a breath of cold air and bumped his head into Zhou Jie's arm. He said, "Mamma mia! Jocko, what should we do now?" Kakashi tried hard to make himself stand up straight. He grabbed Zhou Jie's left hand with both hands and asked with a trembling voice, "Do you like it cold or hot?" Unexpectedly, Zhou Jie calmly asked Kakashi. Kakashi was suddenly speechless. "Jocko, you still have the mood to joke at this time? How can I not be kicked like a ball? Let's do it. Use the sky flipping seal, and try to help me block the zergs behind and on the sides. Then, follow me closely." With the Kadi's blade in hand and the netherworld armor extended to cover his face, Zhou Jie did not continue to joke. He calmly said to Kakashi, "Okay, Jocko, it's up to you to open a bloody path." Kakashi heard this and immediately encouraged Zhou Jie and himself. However, his body could not help but shiver. Zhou Jie did not respond because the nearest group of zergs had already started to climb the hill they were on. Therefore, without saying anything, Zhou Jie called out 144 golden swords and started the massacre. Yam-8, Wild Blade Zerg S-Class Zerg Combat Power. After Zhou Jie rushed out, only then did Kakashi notice that the few Vanguard Zergs in front of Zhou Jie were actually Wild Blade Zergs that were 1 level stronger than the poisonous Scorpion Zerg and the giant Crocodile Zerg. He could not help but cry out, 1, 2. Mommy, 9 Wild Blade Zergs. While Kakashi was complaining for Zhou Jie was facing a Wild Blade Zerg that had mantis arms. Swoosh! Kadi's blade was like lightning, cutting into the chest of the Wild Blade Zerg and splitting its body open like a hot knife through butter. This Wild Blade Zerg's reaction was twice as fast as the poisonous Scorpion Zerg. However, when it waved its 4 blades and wanted to strangle Zhou Jie had already moved from its chest to its tail. The Kadi's blade also caused this Wild Blade Zerg's stomach to be split open in an instant. The intense pain caused this Wild Blade Zerg to be unable to control its own attack. Its waving blades could only poke its own bleeding abdomen twice, after which it weakly supported itself on the ground. After easily killing this Wild Blade Zerg, Zhou Jie's body was also bathed in the brown blood of the Wild Blade Zerg, and he was completely surrounded by the Zergs. The golden lotus sword flower turned into a rain of swords, like locusts, unceasingly sweeping past one low-level Zerg after another, causing them to be unable to approach Zhou Jie and interfere with him. Therefore, although Zhou Jie was surrounded by Zergs, he was actually only facing a few large-sized Wild Blade Zergs nearby. It was just that the Wild Blade Zerg was an S-rank Zerg. Previously, Zhou Jie was only able to kill it in a one-on-one, taking advantage of its unpreparedness. Now that he was facing 4 to 5 Wild Blade Zergs at the same time, Zhou Jie also had to consider self-defense and evasion. He could not easily take the risk of attacking like just now. Kill! Zhou Jie let out a low roar, the long-suppressed bloodlust erupting out. He leaned forward and launched an attack on the nearest Wild Blade Zerg. Gotcha! Apart from the abdomen of the Wild Blade Zerg, the rest of its body was as hard as diamond. In addition to its thick layer of protective body fat, even if Zhou Jie used Kadi's blade to slash, it could only break one side of its body armor, but could not cause any substantial damage. Swish, swish. The Wild Blade Zerg's counterattack was also very swift. The reason why Zhou Jie was not able to directly slash at the wild blade Zerg's chest and abdomen was because he had used his blade to defend in time. In addition, there was still another wild blade Zerg attacking from the side. Zhou Jie had no choice but to use his blade to slash at the side of the wild blade Zerg in front of him, and quickly dodge to this side to avoid the counterattack of the two wild blade Zergs. Chapter 53. While Zhou Jie was fighting with the remaining 8 wild blade Zergs, there were continuous explosions around the hill. Monstrous waves of air swept up the dirt and gravel, as well as the broken limbs of the Zergs. This encouraged Zhou Jie a little, because he knew that this was Kakashi doing as he said, using the sky-flipping seal to block the Zergs from the other 3 directions. However, Zhou Jie also knew the power of the sky-flipping seal. Although it could kill low-level Zergs, it could not cause effective damage to the poisonous scorpion Zergs, giant crocodile Zergs and other Zergs with A-level combat power. This was because their carapaces were harder than metal and stone. In addition, under this kind of situation where it was thrown randomly, it was even more impossible to cause any damage to the high-level Zergs. However, the power of the sky-flipping seal still frightened the Zergs. A large number of low-level Zergs retreated because of this and did not dare to come closer. As for the poisonous scorpion Zergs and other high-level Zergs, due to the dust caused by the explosion blocking their line of sight, temporarily did not dare to attack. At the same time, Zhou Jie finally made his move. After dodging, he turned around and dodged the attack of the Frenzy Blade Zerg at the side. Then, he furiously chopped at the Frenzy Blade Zerg that was coming at him. Puchi! This slash of Zhou Jie's was infused with the energy in his body. Together with the support of his spiritual power, the power was many times stronger than before. Under this slash, the wild blade Zerg's 2 hands that were blocking were all cut off. The blade of Kades directly chopped the head of this wild blade Zerg. The sharp energy of the blade exploded and actually directly exploded the head of this wild blade Zerg. The front half of its body was torn apart. In an instant it could not be more dead. With Zhou Jie's mid-level X-level basic strength, it was enough to explode with peak X-level attack power. Even with such a slash, it was still far from Zhou Jie's strongest attack level. However, to continuously explode with such an attack, the consumption for Zhou Jie was very huge. This was like a person performing a high-energy street dance. He would be out of breath after 2 minutes. Hence, Zhou Jie considered that he was facing a Zerg tide and did not know when he could kill his way out of the encirclement. Hence, he was not willing to continue exploding like this. He hoped to escape with the least consumption. However, this idea was Zhou Jie's initial decision. When he just felt the power of the sky-flipping seal, he suddenly changed his mind, since the sky-flipping seal could injure the majority of the Zergs, then he only needed to quickly kill a few high-level blade Zergs. Then he could use the sky-flipping seal, and he could use the sky-flipping seal to easily and quickly kill his way out of the encirclement. With such an idea in mind, that was why Zhou Jie suddenly exploded and killed a Frenzy Blade Zerg with 1 slash. Zhou Jie consecutively killed 2 Frenzy Blade Zergs. Not only did it not frighten the remaining 7 Frenzy Blade Zergs, it seemed to have angered them instead. The 7 Frenzy Blade Zergs simultaneously screeched twice, and rushed towards Zhou Jie even more ferociously. Almost at the same time, 50 meters in front of Zhou Jie, a group of flower-mouthed Zergs simultaneously sprayed out balls of black venom towards his position. These venom balls sprayed out by the flower-mouthed Zergs, in terms of power, they could break through a 30 centimeters thick cement wall from 20 meters away. The venom itself also had a strong corrosive and neurotoxic property. It could poison a person to death even if it came into contact with the skin. However, Zhou Jie naturally did not care about the power of these venom balls. Moreover, with the Netherworld battlesuit, the venom was unable to touch his skin. Therefore, Zhou Jie believed that he only needed to be careful not to let the venom enter his eyes. But when Zhou Jie was hit by a venom ball, a putrid stench of rotting food was accidentally inhaled by Zhou Jie. In an instant, Zhou Jie felt an intense nausea. This made him realize that the volatility of these venoms was still very strong. Relying on thin air, it could easily poison a person. With no other choice, Zhou Jie could only hold his breath, no longer absorbing the extremely thin oxygen in the air. Previously, when Zhou Jie breathed, it was only out of habit, and breathing oxygen could reduce the consumption of some of the stored energy in his body. This time, the flower-mouthed Zerg's venom balls also caused a certain amount of trouble for Zhou Jie, forcing Zhou Jie to specially divide some of his mental strength, and began to harvest them with the golden lotus sword flower. While the wild blade Zergs took advantage of the situation to attack fiercely, Zhou Jie chose to temporarily dodge. Due to the effect of the venom balls just now, he needed a little time to readjust his battle state. However, at this time, Kakashi threw the sky flipping seal at the top of the hill. Suddenly, he looked at the sky with his eyes wide open and cursed something. Then, he threw out 10 sky flipping seal at once, turned around and shouted to Zhou Jie, "Jocko, Zerg King, the Zerg King has arrived." Zhou Jie, who was fighting with 7 wild blade Zergs, was shocked when he heard this. Immediately, his blade burst out again, and chopped a wild blade Zerg away. Then, with an explosive step, he flashed forward and finished it off with another blade. Swish, swish, swish. The golden lotus sword flower gathered back, and under Zhou Jie's full control, it directly pierced through the lower abdomen of a wild blade Zerg, and smashed its insides into pieces. The remaining 5 frenzy blade Zergs continued to attack. Zhou Jie shot towards one of them like a bolt of lightning. With a swing of his saber, another frenzy blade Zerg was killed. Under the saber, its entire body was chopped into pieces by the saber energy. After a few breaths, Zhou Jie finished off all the wild blade Zergs, and used the golden lotus sword flower to block the other Zergs that wanted to surround him. After doing all this, Zhou Jie turned around and came to the slope of the hill. His body was half lying on the slope, and his chest was violently moving up and down. Under the cover of the netherworld armor, his iron-like muscles were bulging even more obviously. All this showed that Zhou Jie had just experienced a fierce battle, and his energy consumption was not small. However, Zhou Jie was not in the mood to pay attention to his own condition. Instead, he turned his head to look at the top of Kakashi's head. 4 liger-sized, mantis-like, pitch-black Zerg King generals were flapping their 6 metal-like scaled wings, and were descending at high speed towards Zhou Jie's position. Patter! Zhou Jie stood up, and a thick drop of Zerg blood dripped from his wrist onto the ground. At this moment, Zhou Jie looked like a blood-soaked war god, proudly looking at the 4 Zerg King generals that were about to pounce on him. Mamma mia! At this moment, Kakashi had already rolled and crawled to the slope of the hill, trying to distance himself from Zhou Jie as much as possible, while at the same time not losing sight of Zhou Jie. It was also at this moment that Kakashi suddenly realized that the Zergs that were trying to surround him just now had stopped their commotion, and retreated to one side, standing in the same place like soldiers receiving instructions. Clang! The golden lotus sword flower reformed into a golden long sword, which was held in Zhou Jie's left hand. At this moment, Zhou Jie was holding 2 blades, 1 blade and 1 sword. His eyes were fixed on the incoming enemies, and his battle intent soared to the sky. Boom! In the next second, the first Zerg King general pounced on Zhou Jie, its eagle-like sharp claws aimed at Zhou Jie's head. After being slashed by Zhou Jie's blade, it flapped its wings and flew to the side. However, the shock wave from the collision between the two was like an explosion, and half of the slope was shattered, causing dust and stones to fly everywhere. Boom! Boom! 2 consecutive Zerg King general pouncing on Zhou Jie were also blocked by Zhou Jie's blade and sword, and the last Zerg King General chose to land on the side, revealing its terrifying long blade forearm, and slashing towards Zhou Jie. Regardless of whether it was the speed of movement or attack, the Zerg King General was much faster than the Frenzy Blade Zerg, and its attack power was not something that the latter could compare with. In addition, its body size was smaller, its body density was shocking, and its defense was extremely terrifying. In the following few clashes, Zhou Jie was surrounded by danger, and he was forced to roll on the ground a few times by the coordination of the 4 Zerg King General before he could barely hold on. Thump, 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 thump. Zhou Jie's heart was beating crazily like never before, and then the veins on Zhou Jie's forehead bulged, and he released the full power of his spiritual force field, causing the movements of the 4 Zerg King General to slow down. Bang! Zhou Jie seized the opportunity, and like a thunderbolt, he attacked the nearest Zerg King General, intending to slash off its forearm directly. However, the Zerg King General's reaction was also very fast, and with a sweep of its 2 blades, it blocked Zhou Jie's sudden attack. But Zhou Jie's blade slashed the surface of its blades, and under the impact of the impact, the Zerg King General moved horizontally away from its original position. At this moment, Zhou Jie finally realized how difficult it was to obtain the forearm of the Zerg King General. Without killing it, it was almost impossible to obtain its arms, but once the Zerg King General appeared, it would definitely be accompanied by a large number of Zerg underlings, and with such difficulty, it was no wonder that the mission to obtain the forearm of the Zerg King General, whose actual combat power was not even at level X, required at least mid-level level X combat power. To accept. Chapter 54. Whoosh, whoosh. The speed of the King Zerg's forearm was almost twice as fast as the Frenzy Blade Zerg, almost reaching the speed of sound. Zhou Jie held his dual blades and dodged left and right. Although he was able to parry for a while, there was no way for him to counterattack. This made Kakashi stare at him, but there was nothing he could do, although he had some methods to help Zhou Jie, and was even willing to sacrifice himself to help Zhou Jie share the burden of the 2 King Zergs. He was worried that if he did that, the surrounding Zergs would riot again. If that happened, the situation would be out of control, and Zhou Jie would be in a more passive position. "Jocko, come on, you can do it." In the end, Kakashi could only secretly cheer for Zhou Jie. At this moment, Zhou Jie also seemed to have heard Kakashi's cheers. The mental state that he had been accumulating for a long time suddenly burst out. The golden lotus sword in his left hand instantly turned into 144 golden swords, and some of them broke through the King Zerg's forearm and attacked its eyes, mouth and other vulnerable parts. At the same time, Zhou Jie moved horizontally like lightning, and used his blade to force back the attack of the King Zerg on the right. Borrowing the force, he rushed forward to the left. Kadiz's blade violently slashed out, and fiercely chopped at the right forearm of the King Zerg that was unable to parry the attack of the Golden Lotus sword. Crack! The forearm of the King Zerg was indestructible, but the part of the forearm was relatively weak. Zhou Jie's long-planned attack succeeded, and the right forearm of the King Zerg was instantly broken. Zhou Jie used more strength to chop off the right forearm of the King Zerg. Using his mental strength to follow the broken forearm of the King Zerg, Zhou Jie quickly retreated sideways, and at the same time, the other 2 King Zergs that were pouncing on him missed. At the same time, he stored the forearm of the King Zerg into the space ring. 1/4 of the mission completed. Zhou Jie encouraged himself in his heart after obtaining the forearm of the King Zerg. At the same time, he used his mind, and the Golden Lotus sword rolled back, forming the Waterfall Crush sword formation behind him. Buzz! Zhou Jie pointed his finger, and the Waterfall Shattering sword formation was unleashed. The loss of one Zerg King's forearm seemed to have angered the other 3 Zerg Kings. While the injured Zerg King retreated temporarily, the other 3 Zerg Kings let out hissing sounds and charged towards Zhou Jie at the same time. The waterfall-shattering sword formation was extremely powerful. One of the Zerg Kings was about to collide with the waterfall-shattering sword formation. It waved its two blades in an attempt to tear the sword formation apart. In the end, it was almost knocked out by the force of the sword formation. Asterisk crack, 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 asterisk all 144 golden swords landed on the body of the Zerg King General without missing a single one. The scales on the surface of the Zerg King General's body were riddled with holes, but they still did not cause any substantial damage to it. At the same time, the other two Zerg King Generals suddenly emitted extremely sharp sound waves that actually contained a strong mental strength. In an instant, Zhou Jie was caught off guard and had a splitting headache. The momentum of the blade of Cadiz in his hand that was ready to meet the enemy stopped. Whoosh! The two Zerg King Generals flanked Zhou Jie from the left and right. Their extremely sharp arms and blades respectively slashed towards Zhou Jie's head and thigh, trying to make it impossible for Zhou Jie to resist. However, at the last moment, Zhou Jie's body reacted completely out of instinct. When he flipped in the air, the blade of Cadiz was behind his back. At the same time, the blade of Cadiz also blocked the attack of the Zerg King General's hand, clang. However, because the backhand strength was too weak, the blade of Cadiz could not completely block the Zerg King General's slash. When Zhou Jie's body was slashed in the air, the blade of Cadiz hit his back and almost flew out of his hand. Oh! Zhou Jie knew that the Zerg King General would immediately attack again. Therefore, he used his mental strength to force himself to land quickly in the air and then forcefully jumped to one side to dodge. As expected, the moment Zhou Jie left the original spot, a Zerg King General's hand slashed towards him. It almost grazed the ground and the strong force caused the rocks on the ground to crack. Zhou Jie shook his head to wake himself up from the mental attack of the Zerg King General just now. Then, he activated the Golden Lotus Sword Flower and attacked the back of a Zerg King General, Golden Lotus Sword Formation, Tai Chi Destruction. At the same time, because of the battle just now, the four Zerg King General were scattered in front and back. Zhou Jie seized the opportunity and dashed towards the nearest Zerg King General. The Zerg King General that was chosen by Zhou Jie let out an angry hiss and fearlessly slashed at Zhou Jie with its two blades. However, this time, Zhou Jie was determined to kill it and used the power of the Thunder Soul Pearl. The blade of Cadiz emitted a blue energy arc for the first time and collided with the Zerg King General like a thunderbolt from the sky. Bang! As if thunder had struck the ground, the place where the two collided exploded. Although the air was thin, the shockwave was still terrifying. It directly caused the surface of the hill to tremble. Zhou Jie's attack stunned Kakashi. This attack was almost at the threshold of the Star Lord level, and Zhou Jie was able to unleash such an attack after a fierce battle. It was not hard to imagine how strong Zhou Jie was. Combined, he was definitely at the peak of rank X. Under the attack of the threshold of the Star Lord level, the Zerg King General that was fighting against Zhou Jie was instantly shattered. Its internal organs were completely turned into paste, and it couldn't be more dead. And the remaining power of this blow also forced a Zerg King General to retreat, and it let out a terrified hiss sound. Obviously, it was frightened by Zhou Jie's terrifying blow. However, after killing the Zerg King General, Zhou Jie used all his strength and took advantage of the cover effect caused by the explosion to flash toward another Zerg King General that was closer to him. Zhou Jie raised his sword and glared. The blade of Cadiz flashed with electric energy again, twisting the space where it passed. Pucci! In a dangerous situation, Zhou Jie stuck close to the ground and passed through the Zerg King General's arms. He slid directly under the Zerg King General's chest and abdomen. With a slash, the Zerg King General's stomach was instantly cut open. The second Zerg King General died just like that. Seeing this, the remaining two Zerg King General were finally terrified and suddenly let out sharp screams. After killing two Zerg King General, Zhou Jie was actually at the end of his rope. Seeing that the two Zerg King General didn't attack him, he immediately turned around and came to the Zerg King General that had its abdomen cut open. He then cut off its forearms with the blade of Cadi's. At the same time, hearing the screams of the Zerg King General, the group of Zergs who were watching quietly from afar suddenly became excited. They all let out strange screams, and at the same time, the sound was so loud that it shook the sky, and at the same time, they gathered towards Zhou Jie's position. Zhou Jie didn't have time to think. Without thinking, he turned around and came to the Zerg King General that had its body broken and cut off its forearms as well. At this moment, the remaining two Zerg King General finally attacked Zhou Jie again. Kakashi, Sky Flipping Seal! Zhou Jie immediately roared. At the same time, he raised his sword to fight. The Zerg King General's speed was too fast. Although Zhou Jie was physically and mentally exhausted, he had no choice but to fight with 120% of his energy. When Kakashi saw the Zergs that were surrounding him, he had already taken out a bunch of Sky Flipping Seal. Hearing this, he shouted to Zhou Jie, "Jocko, hang in there, come to my side." Swish, 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 swish. Then, Kakashi threw the Sky Flipping Seal crazily. It was as if the Sky Flipping Seal didn't cost anything. It crazily fell into the group of Zergs below, causing a bloody storm once again. Zhou Jie desperately swung his sword, and at the same time used the Golden Lotus sword to interfere with the two Zerg King General. Only then did he manage to block a round of attacks from the two Zerg King General and retreat to Kakashi's side. However, at this moment, Zhou Jie felt that his brain was swollen to the point of dizziness. His whole body started to feel like it was filled with lead. Even the sword he was holding felt heavy. "Kakashi, I can't take it anymore." Zhou Jie suddenly knelt on the ground with one knee behind his sword. His voice was trembling as he spoke. "Jocko, drink this." Hearing this, Kakashi rushed to Zhou Jie like lightning. He opened a bottle of level X nutrient solution and poured it into Zhou Jie's mouth. Originally, the level X nutrient solution needed to be absorbed by the cultivator soaking in its diluted liquid. This was because the energy was absorbed very quickly. Under normal circumstances, the cultivator could only absorb it slowly after diluting it. If the cultivator drank it, it would cause the energy to be absorbed too quickly. It would cause the cultivator to lose control of the energy in the body, causing the cultivator to be in a dangerous situation. It could even cause the cultivator to die. However, in Zhou Jie's current situation, his body was extremely lacking in energy. The energy in the level X nutrient solution was relatively pure and could be absorbed very quickly. Therefore, after Zhou Jie drank the nutrient solution, not only did he not experience any danger of losing control of his energy, but he also instantly felt a warm current flowing through his body. The energy in his body that was originally exhausted seemed to have been replenished all of a sudden. After the limit, sublimation. Chapter 55. Zhou Jie felt so comfortable that he could not help but shiver. Immediately, he held the blade of Cadi's in his hand tightly and pounced forward again. Two Zerg King Generals were right in front of Zhou Jie. Zhou Jie dodged and slashed, dodging the attack of the Zerg King General with a broken arm. Then, he slashed at the other Zerg King General with a slash. Then, he roared and pounced on the Zerg King General with a broken arm. Poochie! The Zerg King General with a broken arm had lost an arm after all, so its strength was greatly reduced. Zhou Jie attacked furiously and slashed at the Zerg King General's lower abdomen. The blade chi exploded and finally killed the third Zerg King General. However, these few quick and simple explosive movements caused the energy that Zhou Jie had just replenished to be depleted once again. His whole body's muscles ached again, as if excessive exercise had caused his muscles to dissolve. This time, Zhou Jie flipped over and could not attack the last Zerg King General. However, Zhou Jie did not expect that after he killed the third Zerg King General, the last Zerg King General was terrified to the extreme. It seemed to think that it was no match for Zhou Jie. It actually flapped its wings and flew up into the sky. The gravity of the Zerg planet was too strong. Zhou Jie could not fly. In addition, his body was in a very bad condition. When the Zerg King General flew up into the sky, Zhou Jie heaved a sigh of relief. He felt that he was out of danger. Jocko, let's go. At this time, Kakashi also ran to Zhou Jie's side. At the same time, he did not forget to throw a piece of the sky-flipping seal in all directions as he spoke to Zhou Jie. Okay, Zhou Jie replied. Seeing that the Zerg horde was less than 20 meters away from him, he forced himself to stand up and planned to fight his way out. However, when Zhou Jie stood up with the blade of Kadi's in his hand, all the muscles in his body started to twitch uncontrollably. This caused him to lose his balance and fall to the ground again. Upon seeing this, Kakashi's expression changed. He hurriedly used Sky-Flipping Seal to bombard another wave of Zergs. Then, he carried Zhou Jie on his back. Jocko, hold on, I'll get you out of here. After Kakashi carried Zhou Jie on his back, his originally playful and frightened expression completely disappeared. Instead, it was replaced by an angry look. If Zhou Jie could see Kakashi's expression at this time, he would definitely be extremely surprised, because he had never seen Kakashi with an angry and serious expression before. Not long after the Zerg King flew away, the Zerg horde also received the order to retreat from the nest's overmind. Immediately, they started to retreat gradually from the periphery. It was just that the overmind's order was sent out and all the Zergs received the order and required a certain amount of time. During this delay, Zhou Jie just happened to be unable to hold on. Kakashi carried Zhou Jie on his back and revealed an angry look. If a tiger doesn't show its might, do you think I, Kakashi, am a sick cat? Following Kakashi's angry roar, his eyes suddenly shot out a terrifying azure light beam. Wherever the light beam passed, the rocks collapsed, the flesh of the Zergs melted, and they died on the spot. Bang, bang, bang! Kakashi looked around. The blue light beam in his eyes shot out crazily, and in a short moment, he killed tens of Zergs. At this time, after the Zerg horde received the order from the Overmind, they started to retreat rapidly with fear in their hearts. Thus, a miraculous scene happened. The large group of Zergs that originally pounced towards Kakashi and Zhou Jie without any regard for their lives, after Kakashi shot out the laser light beam, they seemed to have received a collective shock and frantically retreated. Kakashi was also stunned when he saw this. He immediately stopped the laser light in his eyes and then laughed proudly. Haha, I, Kakashi, am still the best. Just a glare and they are all scared away. Zhou Jie, who was on Kakashi's back, saw the scene of the Zergs retreating, and immediately relaxed his still tense nerve. However, just as Zhou Jie relaxed, he immediately felt the pain all over his body become more intense, and he couldn't help but groan. Kakashi realized that Zhou Jie's situation was not good. He hurriedly kept his smile and said to Zhou Jie, I will find a safe place now. Jocko, hold on for a while. About 3 minutes later, Kakashi carried Zhou Jie on his back and found a cave wall at the bottom of a rocky slope about 10 miles away from the mother Zerg's nest. However, the depth was not more than half a meter, and it was naturally formed. In this godforsaken place, there is no cave without Zergs. We can only wait here temporarily, Kakashi said as he carried Zhou Jie to the cave wall and put him down. Zhou Jie did not speak throughout the journey. He seemed to be very weak. After being put down by Kakashi, he showed a painful expression and his body trembled slightly. Seeing this, Kakashi quickly scanned Zhou Jie's body condition. After confirming that the situation was as he had guessed, he could not help but pout. Zhou Jie's current situation was that his body was severely overdrawn, especially after a round of overdrawing. Originally, if he used the nutrient solution to recover and rest, not only would he be able to recover quickly, it would also increase the strength of his cells by a large margin. This would allow Zhou Jie to be even stronger than before the battle when he fully recovered. However, Zhou Jie had to fight again after absorbing the nutrient solution, which led to a second round of overdrawing. His cells, after experiencing such a huge difference in energy gain and loss, started to collapse. This was the same principle as a normal person's muscle dissolving due to excessive exercise, but Zhou Jie's situation was much more serious. Alright, it seems that this is the only way. Kakashi thought about it and felt that if he allowed Zhou Jie to recover by himself in the current situation, it might take a month or so. Moreover, the improvement that his body had obtained after reaching the limit of sublimation would be lost, and it might even cause his body to suffer and his strength to decrease. The best way was to use healing life energy that was gentler and purer than the nutrient solution to repair Zhou Jie's body. In this way, not only would Zhou Jie recover faster, but his strength would also increase significantly after he recovered. Coincidentally, as an intelligent life form, although Kakashi did not have very strong combat strength, the energy contained in his body was extremely huge. One of the manifestations was that his eyes could continuously shoot out laser beams. In addition, he could also release his energy in other forms, such as the gentle healing life energy. However, the reason why Kakashi would not use an energy release method like the eye laser, unless it was a last resort, was because it would greatly increase his energy consumption, far exceeding his recovery ability. Once the energy in his body was consumed to a certain threshold, he would have to enter a dormant state to replenish his energy. I was too high on shooting just now and consumed more than half of my energy. It seems that after healing Jocko this time, I have to hibernate for a while. Kakashi thought to himself, but he had already begun to release life energy from his hands to heal Zhou Jie. Kakashi. Zhou Jie was originally weak and in pain, but suddenly felt the pain in his body weaken after being illuminated by Kakashi's life energy. He could not help but raise his head slightly and look at Kakashi in confusion. Seeing this, Kakashi did not want Zhou Jie to worry about him, so he said, "It's okay, Jocko. I'm using energy to heal you." Okay. Zhou Jie heard this and wanted to say something, but considering his situation, he finally responded and lay back down. Kakashi's healing of Zhou Jie lasted for more than 2 hours. During this time, Zhou Jie asked Kakashi to stop twice, but Kakashi said that he had not fully recovered and wanted him to continue lying down. After the treatment was over, Kakashi breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Okay, Jocko, do you feel much better?" Zhou Jie heard this and moved his body. He felt that the energy in his body seemed to be stronger than before, so he said bluntly, "I feel that my strength has improved." Kakashi heard this and laughed, but a red light suddenly flashed in his eyes. Zhou Jie noticed this and asked curiously, "Kakashi, what happened to your eyes?" "Oh, the treatment just now used up too much energy. I might have to hibernate for a while. Let's stay in the G-grade spaceship for now." The spaceship's energy is not much after the last flight, so it needs to be automatically recharged, Kakashi replied. Zhou Jie heard this and remembered that he still had a G-grade spaceship. He immediately released it from the space ring and boarded the spaceship with Kakashi 3 days later. Around noon, a 24-hour planet, a pitch-black shield-shaped spaceship flashed in the sky above the Zerg planet and descended to an altitude of about 1,000 meters from the surface of the Zerg planet. The Black Feather Star Master sat in the spaceship and took a sip of the wine in his glass. He ordered the spaceship's computer artificial intelligence, search for all life energy on the surface of this planet. Chapter 56. In the G-class spaceship, Kakashi had entered hibernation state while Zhou Jie was practicing the Golden Lotus sword formation in the training ground at the rear of the spaceship. Before entering hibernation state, Kakashi had told Zhou Jie that he needed to hibernate for about 36 days, 9 hours and 26 minutes. Therefore, Zhou Jie planned to contact the cargo spaceship of the Galaxy Munitions Factory to send them back to Coiling Dragon's Star when Kakashi was about to finish hibernation. Although the G-class spaceship was faster, Zhou Jie had to maintain the energy of the G-class spaceship fully charged. Secondly, the cargo spaceship of the Galaxy Munitions Factory had a gravity room, while his G-class spaceship did not. Therefore, Zhou Jie felt that he would rather spend more time on the Galaxy Munitions Factory's spaceship and use the gravity room to train himself. Without Kakashi's words, Zhou Jie spent most of his time on the G-class spaceship except for cultivation, eating, and short rest. He spent most of his time studying the usage of the Golden Lotus Sword Flower. This was mainly because compared to the improvement of his physical strength, it was easier for him to train his spiritual energy. On the 9th day on the spaceship, after completing his cultivation target in the morning, Zhou Jie came to the kitchen in the middle of the spaceship. He took his favorite ting noodle and some meat products and started to prepare his sumptuous lunch. All the food on the spaceship was bought by Kakashi by the ton, and they were all Kakashi's favorite food. Zhou Jie usually ate plain food. As long as it was high-energy food, he would eat whatever he could get his hands on. He was never picky. However, after Kakashi's hibernation, when Zhou Jie came to the kitchen to look for food, he was faced with a pile of delicious food. Anyone would be picky, and Zhou Jie was no exception. Therefore, he ate almost half of the ting noodle, which was also Kakashi's favorite food. However, when Zhou Jie was preparing his lunch, Black Feather Star Master arrived above a hill where Zhou Jie had fought before in his shield-shaped spaceship. Ka! The door of the spaceship opened, and Black Feather Star Master in black armor walked out and slowly landed below. Patter! Black Feather Star Master's exquisite leather boots stepped on the hard rocks of the hill, making a crisp sound. Black Feather Star Master stood on the top of the hill and carefully glanced at the piles of Zerg corpses around him. Finally, his eyes stopped on a few Zerg corpses near the slope. Black Feather Star Master walked to the front of the Zerg corpses and carefully examined them. Suddenly, the corner of his mouth slightly raised and said, "Interesting, the King Zerg." As he said that, Black Feather Star Master's eyes stopped at the King Zerg's broken arms for a while. Then, he turned around and continued to survey the scene. A few minutes later, Black Feather Star Master was basically sure that Zhou Jie had fought with the Zerg group here. However, he was a little confused about the numerous explosion pits left behind near the hill. Those were obviously caused by weapons like bombs. In terms of power, they were more powerful than ordinary grenades. From his survey, there were at least 50 such bombs exploding here. Could it be that Zhou Jie had dozens of powerful grenades with him? Or it could be said that he had an accomplice. Black Feather Star Master pondered for a while, and finally decided not to think about it. Whether Zhou Jie had an accomplice or not, he did not care. Moreover, he had already determined that Zhou Jie must have been seriously injured. Otherwise, he would not have only taken away one of the King Zerg's forearms. He should not have escaped far, but the spaceship's scan did not detect any human life energy within 100 miles. Black Feather Star Master suddenly muttered to himself. His narrow eyes looked over the hill in front of him and kept looking far away. A few minutes later, Black Feather Star Master followed the bloodstains all the way and tracked for more than 2 kilometers. After the bloodstains disappeared, he carefully identified the traces on the surface of the rock and continued to track. Finally, he appeared in front of the empty space where the G-grade spaceship was parked. "It's here?" Black Feather Star Master noticed that the traces under his feet suddenly disappeared about 10 meters away from the bottom of the hill. He could not help but frown. The sudden disappearance of Zhou Jie's traces made Black Feather Star Master extremely surprised. He immediately opened up his spiritual force field and planned to search the surrounding area. At the same time, a small silver spaceship flew across the sky above the Queen Zerg's nest that Zhou Jie had encountered. In the spaceship, a beautiful woman in red noticed the feedback from the spaceship's scan and immediately stopped drinking her tea. Little White, reduce the speed to 2m and fly close to the ground. The woman in red ordered. The spaceship's artificial intelligence immediately controlled the spaceship to reduce the speed of the spaceship to about 10 meters per second. It also quickly reduced the altitude of the spaceship from nearly 1,000 meters to less than 100 meters. Soon, the woman in red also discovered the place where Zhou Jie had fought with the Zergs. She also noticed Blackfeather Star Master's spaceship that was parked nearly 100 meters above the ground. Little White, hover. The woman in red immediately said. The spaceship that she was in also hovered in midair. Blackfeather Star Master looked at the empty space not far away in surprise. He immediately smiled and said softly to himself, "What a surprise. This spaceship is at least F-grade, right? It's hidden here. The person inside must be recuperating after experiencing the Zerg horde." At this time, although Blackfeather Star Master was less and less certain that the person who had fought with the Zergs was Zhou Jie, the spaceship in front of him, combined with the disappearance of the spaceship, was undoubtedly the person who had fought with the Zergs and was injured in the spaceship. If Blackfeather Star Master could take advantage of the situation, even if the person inside the spaceship was not Zhou Jie, he would still benefit. Coincidentally, after Blackfeather Star Master made up his mind to enter the G-grade spaceship, Zhou Jie happened to come to the spaceship's control room while eating a Rugiamo. The electronic screen in the control room was constantly monitoring the surrounding situation. When Zhou Jie saw Blackfeather Star Master in the corner of the screen, he was inevitably shocked. However, he quickly realized that the spaceship was in an invisible state and could not be seen with the naked eye. Therefore, he thought that Blackfeather Star Master might have only appeared there and not discovered the spaceship. But soon, Zhou Jie was disappointed. Blackfeather Star Master actually walked directly from the top of the hill to the G-grade spaceship. Star Master? Then Zhou Jie fell into shock. Under the huge gravity of the Zerg star, he could only glide in the air for a short distance, but he could never walk in the air like the other party. This showed that the strength of the other party was very different from Zhou Jie, just like the difference between a person who could do double arms and a person who could barely do pull-up. T. Zhou Jie wanted to pilot the spaceship to escape immediately, but he soon realized that without Kakashi, he did not know how to pilot the G-grade spaceship at all. He did not even know how to pilot the spaceship on autopilot. Kakashi. Zhou Jie tried to call Kakashi, who had entered hibernation mode, but Kakashi was still sleeping with his eyes closed and did not move at all. Zhou Jie frowned, but did not plan to wake up Kakashi. A Star Master shouldn't be able to break through the defense of the G-grade spaceship. Well, at least a low-star Star Master shouldn't be able to. Then, Zhou Jie thought for a moment, wondering if he should put away the spaceship and how to deal with Blackfeather Star Master. However, Zhou Jie's conclusion was that he would not be able to resist a Star Master if he put away the spaceship, no matter how many stars he had. The best solution seemed to be to hide in the spaceship and not go out until Kakashi woke up. While Zhou Jie was thinking, Blackfeather Star Master had already touched a sensor wire on the surface of the G-grade spaceship. Zhou Jie could see the outside of the spaceship through the projection screen because of these sensor wires. However, Blackfeather Star Master did not find a way to enter the spaceship from the sensor wires, nor did he try to damage the wires. After patrolling back and forth on the surface of the spaceship for a while, Blackfeather Star Master finally came to the tightly closed cabin door of the spaceship. Inside the spaceship, Zhou Jie stared nervously at Blackfeather Star Master's every move on the screen, fearing that he really had a way to break in. However, just as Blackfeather Star Master was about to do something, Zhou Jie saw a small white spaceship appear on the screen. Zhou Jie had an idea and turned off the stealth mode of the spaceship. Zhou Jie saw Kakashi turn on the stealth mode, so he naturally knew how to turn it off. The white spaceship flew quickly and suddenly stopped less than 200 meters away from Blackfeather Star Master. Huh! Blackfeather Star Master sensed the spaceship behind him and immediately turned around. Ka! The cabin door of the white spaceship opened, and a beautiful woman in a tight red dress flew out. She looked at Blackfeather Star Master with cold and sharp eyes. Red Silk Star Master. Blackfeather Star Master quickly recognized the beautiful woman in the red dress, and his heart skipped a beat. Chapter 57. When the Blackfeather Star Lord recognized the Red Silk Star Lord, the Red Silk Star Lord also recognized the Blackfeather Star Lord. Instantly, her eyes were about to spit fire. Blackfeather, the Red Silk Star Lord said coldly. Her gaze fell on the Blackfeather Star Lord as if she wanted to pierce through him. The Blackfeather Star Lord was speechless. He had actually met the Red Silk Star Lord at such a crucial time. His luck was as good as falling down and eating dog shit. The reason why the Red Silk Star Lord was so angry when she saw the Blackfeather Star Lord, and why the Blackfeather Star Lord was secretly complaining, was because of something that happened 11 years ago. 11 years ago, an ancient relic planet was discovered at the edge of the Silver System. The first ones to know about it were the Star Sword Alliance and the Bounty Hunter Alliance's branches in the nearby star system. Later, a precious mineral was discovered on this ancient relic planet, as well as some data of ancient civilizations' technological achievements. The Star Sword Alliance and the Bounty Hunter Alliance started a fight over it. At that time, the two alliances sent out several Star Lord rank experts. The Blackfeather Star Lord was one of the Star Lords sent out by the Bounty Hunter Alliance. During this fight, the Blackfeather Star Lord and a Class X expert from the Star Sword Alliance, in fact, it was the Class X expert who discovered it first, and the Blackfeather Star Lord happened to see it, discovered a weapons base on the planet. There was a large amount of energy and advanced weapons hidden there, which were extremely valuable. Then, it was inevitable that the Blackfeather Star Lord would kill the Class X expert from the Star Sword Alliance for the Bounty Hunter Alliance's interests. However, after the Blackfeather Star Lord killed the Class X expert, the Red Silk Star Lord rushed over and saw it. Coincidentally, the Class X expert that the Blackfeather Star Lord killed was the Red Silk Star Lord's younger brother. Needless to say, the Red Silk Star Lord was enraged on the spot, and the Blackfeather Star Lord had nowhere to run. If it weren't for the shockwaves from the battle that quickly attracted other Star Lord rank experts from both alliances, the Blackfeather Star Lord didn't know if he could escape the terrifying pursuit of the Red Silk Star Lord. Hong Ling, enemies are bound to meet on a narrow road. The Blackfeather Star Master knew that the following battle was unavoidable. He immediately revealed an ugly smile. When Red Silk Star Master heard this, she added, "Yes, enemies are bound to meet on a narrow road. I thought you would hide in your doghouse and never come out. I didn't expect that I would run into you when I was patrolling. Today, I must avenge my brother." When the Blackfeather Star Lord heard this, he frowned and could not help but ask, "Why are you here?" When Red Silk Star Master heard this, she sneered and said, "I was wondering why you were here. Don't you know that the Zerg planet is under the jurisdiction of the Star Sword Alliance? I've been living here for the past few years, and I'm in charge of supervising the research on Zergs. So that's how it is." After the Blackfeather Star Master knew why the Red Silk Star Master was here, he regretted not doing any research before coming to the Zerg planet. But then again, how could he have known that the Red Silk Star Master would be on the Zerg planet? As for other situations, even if the Zerg planet was under the jurisdiction of the Star Sword Alliance, what could they do to him? Inside the spaceship, Zhou Jie saw that the Red Silk Star Lord and the Blackfeather Star Lord were filled with the smell of gunpowder and looked like they were about to fight. He was stunned for a long time. When he came back to his senses, the two people on the screen had already started fighting. Black Feather die. As the Red Silk Star Master spoke, a floral red folding fan appeared in her hand. Wait a minute. The Black Feather Star Master thought of his original purpose and was extremely unwilling to fight with the Red Silk Star Master, so he subconsciously shouted, "What else do you have to say? You can say it as your last words." The Red Silk Star Master said coldly and opened the folding fan in her hand. She looked like she could attack at any time. The Black Feather Star Master was speechless because he came to the Zerg planet to kill Zhou Jie, a grade 10 expert who had nothing to do with him. He guessed that Zhou Jie was in the G-grade spaceship beside him. However, with his situation, even if he told the Red Silk Star Master, what could she do? Could he, the Black Feather Star Master, beg her to let him find a way to break open the door of the spaceship, enter and kill the people inside, then take the spaceship for himself and fight to the death with her? This idea was obviously bullsh*t and was completely unrealistic. If he wanted the Red Silk Star Master to cooperate with him to kill the people in the spaceship and promise to give the spaceship to the Red Silk Star Master, that was also impossible. He killed her brother, and he still wanted to cooperate with her? It was better to dream about it. Therefore, after a short struggle, the Black Feather Star Master did not care whether Zhou Jie was in the spaceship or how to take over the spaceship. "All right, you forced me. I was caught unprepared by you the last time. Do you really think that I can't beat a woman like you?" As the Black Feather Star Master spoke, he took out a double-headed blade from the back of his armor and released the energy field in his body. His long black hair immediately danced behind his head. "Humph, I will definitely kill you today." Although the Red Silk Star Master was a woman, she had a cold, arrogant, and competitive personality. She had always treated outsiders coldly, and only treated her brother excessively well. As the Black Feather Star Master was her enemy who had killed her brother, she naturally had the determination to kill him even if she had to risk her life. After the two sides finished their words, the battle was about to start. The Red Silk Star Master was the first to attack. She waved the folding fan in her hand and an energy force shot towards the Black Feather Star Master. The Black Feather Star Master attacked almost at the same time. The double-headed blade in his hand rotated and twisted, directly cutting through the energy force and charging towards the Red Silk Star Master. The Red Silk Star Master was not afraid at all because the disadvantage in weapons did not exist to her at all. Swoosh! The Red Silk Star Master waved her fan at lightning speed. Many red threads wrapped around the handle of the fan suddenly shot out and attacked the Black Feather Star Master. The red threads looked thin and weak, but the Black Feather Star Master did not dare to underestimate them. His originally ferocious slash paused and instantly changed to a rotating double-headed blade, turning into a roulette in front of him as a defense. Bang, bang, bang. When the red threads and the double-headed blade collided, not only did they not break as expected, but they also produced a series of air explosions, forcing the Black Feather Star Master to retreat a few feet. Humph! Upon seeing this, the Red Silk Star Master snorted and followed up with another attack. She waved the folding fan in her hand and exploded with energy force, attacking the Black Feather Star Master from multiple directions. The Black Feather Star Master saw that the Red Silk Star Master was not going to let him off after gaining the upper hand. 11 years ago, he was suppressed by the Red Silk Star Master. Firstly, the Red Silk Star Master was angry and did not care about her life. He was caught off guard and was forced into a passive position. Secondly, he did not want to fight with the Red Silk Star Master at that time. Hence, he always thought that the Red Silk Star Master was not much stronger than him. Back then, he did not treat her seriously. In addition, the Black Feather Star Master's strength had improved a lot over the past 11 years. Hence, the Black Feather Star Master exploded in anger. "You want to kill me? Then don't blame me for being ruthless." As the Black Feather Star Master spoke, he suddenly retreated and turned around. Then, He charged forward. His double-ended blade emitted a purplish-black energy glow. As he slashed out, it shot out like wildly growing thorns. It instantly destroyed the energy forces that the Red Silk Star Master had sent out from all sides. The Red Silk Star Master saw that the Black Feather Star Master's explosive power was not to be underestimated. Her eyes turned cold. She mobilized all the energy in her body and waved her fan without showing any weakness. A magnificent light blue energy wave burst out and collided with the energy that the Black Feather Star Master had unleashed. Boom! This collision was no small matter. It caused the void in front of the two to be temporarily distorted. A terrifying energy force shot out in all directions and caused the two Star Masters to fly backward unconsciously. However, the Red Silk Star Master flew backward. She flew up dozens of meters but only retreated 5 or 6 meters. She wanted to keep a distance from the Black Feather Star Master as much as possible, in case the Black Feather Star Master chose to escape and she could not catch up. However, the Black Feather Star Master was also angry. Naturally, he was not willing to let the matter rest. He did not even think of escaping. The Red Silk Star Master was afraid that the Black Feather Star Master would escape. After flying to a certain height, she swooped down and pounced on the Black Feather Star Master. She waved the folding fan in her hand repeatedly, causing the Black Feather Star Master to fall into a bitter battle. Chapter 58. Zhou Jie saw the intense battle between the Black Feather Star-Lord and the Red Silk Star-Lord from the spaceship. Furthermore, each of their attacks was fatal. It was as if they would not rest until they killed each other. However, Zhou Jie soon considered his situation. Although the two Star-Lords outside didn't have time to pay attention to his spaceship, what should he do once the outcome of the battle was decided? Perhaps the two of them would consume a lot of energy, and he could just take the spaceship and leave? Zhou Jie couldn't help but nod. He planned to let the two Star-Lords fight first, and he would just watch from the spaceship. At the same time, the Black Feather Star-Lord and the Red Silk Star-Lord were fighting more and more fiercely, and their position was getting higher and higher. They were already 600 meters above the ground. At this moment, Zhou Jie suddenly had an idea. At this distance, and the two Star-Lords were fighting fiercely, they didn't have time to take care of his spaceship. Perhaps he could take the opportunity to take the spaceship and escape. With this thought in mind, Zhou Jie couldn't hold it in any longer. Although his previous plan was good, Zhou Jie was also afraid that things would suddenly change. Naturally, he wanted to escape as soon as possible and be at ease. They're still rising. Okay, now's the time. Zhou Jie saw that the Red Silk Star-Lord and the Black Feather Star-Lord were already 800 meters above the ground. He immediately made up his mind and ran out of the spaceship. Crack! The cabin door of the spaceship opened and Zhou Jie flashed out. After landing, he quickly put the spaceship into his spatial ring and ran in a certain direction. Although Zhou Jie's movements were fast and careful, the two Star-Lords still sensed the sudden disappearance of the spaceship below. Damn it! The Black Feather Star-Lord cursed as soon as he sensed the disappearance of the spaceship below. He forced the Red Silk Star-Lord to retreat and distance himself. Wait a minute, Red Silk Star-Lord. The Black Feather Star-Lord immediately stopped her. Upon hearing this, Star Master Red Damask stopped attacking. Her gaze quickly scanned the ground. Zhou Jie was rapidly moving into the distance, getting further and further away from them. When the Black Feather Star Master saw this, he turned around and saw that there was only Zhou Jie. He immediately realized something and said to the Red Silk Star Master, "Let's fight later. I have to kill that brat first." After hurriedly saying this, the Black Feather Star Master left the Red Silk Star Master and chased after Zhou Jie. Although the Red Silk Star Master was baffled by this, the only person she wanted to kill was the Black Feather Star Master. Naturally, she would not allow him to escape. Thus, she immediately chased after him. Zhou Jie ran madly all the way, flipping over 3 hills in a row. Only then did he remember to look back at the sky. It would have been better if he didn't look. Once he did, Zhou Jie's heart tightened. In the sky, 2 figures were chasing after him, one in front and one behind. The black shadow in front was only a few dozen meters above his head, and the height was only 400 or 500 meters. After roughly sensing the speed of the 2 Star Lords, Zhou Jie felt a chill in his heart. Their flying speed was much faster than his running speed. Zhou Jie estimated that they would catch up to him in less than a minute. Zhou Jie turned his head again and confirmed that the 2 were indeed approaching him. He immediately made up his mind and turned around to stop running. The Black Feather Star Master was overjoyed to see Zhou Jie suddenly stop. He sped up and attacked Zhou Jie, planning to kill Zhou Jie as fast as lightning before the Red Silk Star Master caught up with him. He would then rob Zhou Jie of his belongings and escape at all costs. What a joke! The Red Silk Star Master was so difficult to deal with. If he stayed to fight, he might actually be killed by her. It would be better to rob Zhou Jie of his treasures and escape first. There would be plenty of opportunities to face the Red Silk Star Master in the future. Zhou Jie stared at the Black Feather Star Master who was swooping down. He released his mental power and covered a radius of 50 meters. The Golden Lotus sword on his back was ready to attack. However, the Black Feather Star Lord didn't take Zhou Jie's ready to fight seriously, because he believed that a Star Lord could completely crush a Class X. Even if Zhou Jie wasn't at the peak of Class X, he was absolutely confident that he could kill him in one hit. Die. When the distance was less than 100 meters, the Black Feather Star Master sped up to the limit and shot toward Zhou Jie like a black arrow in the air. Zhou Jie was not afraid. The Golden Lotus sword instantly formed a formation, unstoppable. Dong! In less than a second, the Black Feather Star Master's blade arrived and collided with the Golden Lotus sword formation. Suddenly, a thunderous sound burst out. However, Zhou Jie was already prepared. He rolled forward before the collision. The Black Feather Star Master had seriously underestimated Zhou Jie's explosive attack power. Although Zhou Jie's unstoppable was still broken by his saber, the strong resistance caused his speed to decrease sharply. When he continued to charge forward for a distance, he realized that Zhou Jie had already run behind him. However, less than 30 meters after Zhou Jie rolled forward, the Red Silk Star Master suddenly descended to a position less than 15 meters in front of Zhou Jie and less than 5 meters from the ground. A pair of cold, beautiful eyes stared straight at Zhou Jie. This time, Zhou Jie did not dare to move. Since the other party did not attack, there was obviously room for negotiation. If he insisted on running away, the other party might attack. Who are you? What are you doing here? Is that spaceship yours? The Red Silk Star Master looked at Zhou Jie and suddenly asked. Zhou Jie was about to answer when he suddenly felt a wave of pressure coming from behind. His expression immediately changed, and he subconsciously dodged to the side. The Red Silk Star Master also attacked at lightning speed. The folding fan in her hand exploded with red energy, blocking the Black Feather Star Master's attack for Zhou Jie. Red Silk, you still want to stop me? The Black Feather Star Master saw this and immediately glared at the Red Silk Star Master. The Red Silk Star Master heard this and coldly snorted, "Since you want to kill him, I naturally have to protect him. I just want to make you unhappy." When the Black Feather Star Master heard what the Red Silk Star Master said, the cold light surging in his eyes became sharper. The Black Feather Star Master was about to say something, but Zhou Jie asked the Black Feather Star Master at this moment, "Why do you want to kill me?" The Black Feather Star Master was stunned when he heard this question. He immediately sneered and said, "Don't you know the saying, an ordinary man is innocent, but treasuring a jade ring becomes a crime?" When Zhou Jie heard this, he frowned. Although there was no problem with the Black Feather Star Master's reason, He felt that something was wrong. However, he could not pinpoint what was wrong. When the Red Silk Star Master saw this, she said to Zhou Jie, "Don't worry. With me around, he can't kill you." When Zhou Jie heard the Red Silk Star Master's words, he was instantly overjoyed. He immediately said to the Red Silk Star Master, "Thank you, Senior Red Silk. I am here on a mission. I did not expect to encounter a group of Zergs. After I escaped by luck, I recuperated in the spaceship. Then I met all of you." Zhou Jie's words basically answered the Red Silk Star Master's question. It made the Red Silk Star Master feel very proud. She nodded slightly and then turned to the Black Feather Star Master and said, "Black Feather, let's continue to fight to the death." When the Black Feather Star Master saw that things had turned out this way, although he was a little unwilling that he could not kill Zhou Jie, he still had the intention to retreat. With the Red Silk Star Master around, it would be difficult to kill Zhou Jie. If the two of them joined forces, he would be in a passive position. It was better for him to escape now. Where there is life, there is hope. However, just as the Black Feather Star Master made up his mind, Zhou Jie said, "Senior Red Silk, I can help you." As he spoke, Zhou Jie directly controlled the Golden Lotus Sword and circled behind the Black Feather Star Master. His intention was very obvious. He wanted to stop the Black Feather Star Master from escaping. When the Black Feather Star Master saw this, his pupils shrank. His eyes almost spat fire. However, he had no way to kill Zhou Jie at this time. Therefore, he could only threaten Zhou Jie. "You very good. I will kill you in the future. Don't worry." As he spoke, the Black Feather Star Master flashed and escaped to the side without hesitation. The Red Silk Star Master and Zhou Jie were already prepared for this. At that moment, Zhou Jie had a thought and the Golden Lotus Sword moved towards the Black Feather Star Master at a speed faster than the Black Feather Star Master. It was the Golden Lotus Sword formations, Tai Chi diagram. The Red Silk Star Master instantly chased after him. Countless red threads shot out from her body and wrapped around the Black Feather Star Master. She also wanted to stop the Black Feather Star Master from escaping. "You still want to take revenge in the future? Stop dreaming. You will stay here today," the Red Silk Star Master scolded. She held her folding fan and chased after the Black Feather Star Master. She stabbed at him mercilessly. "You have gone too far." The Black Feather Star Master was affected by the Golden Lotus Sword formation and finally lost the chance to escape. When he felt the terrifying attack behind him, he turned around furiously and clashed with the Red Silk Star Master in mid-air. Chapter 59. However, the Red Silk Star Master was indeed slightly stronger than the Black Feather Star Master. Hence, both of them used their full strength. The Red Silk Star Master threw his old sword and suppressed the Black Feather Star Master. This collision caused the Black Feather Star Master to retreat, and the blood in his body surged. The Red Silk Star Master's situation was relatively better. After receiving the recoil, she only rotated in midair to reduce the force. Then, she held her fan and attacked the Black Feather Star Master again. Zhou Jie also saw the opportunity. At this moment, he used the Golden Lotus Sword formation, Meteor Fall, to attack the Black Feather Star Master, who was in midair, from the side. He wanted to kill the Black Feather Star Master while he was down. Zhou Jie's Golden Lotus Sword formation had the attack power of a Star Lord. The Black Feather Star Master had to use 50% of his strength to deal with it. However, the Red Silk Star Master followed closely behind. This made it difficult for the Black Feather Star Master to block the Red Silk Star Master's attack after blocking Zhou Jie's sword formation. Hence, in an instant, the Black Feather Star Master was shocked and angry. He was shocked because it seemed that he was in danger of dying. He was angry because he was going to die because of Zhou Jie. It should be known that he was originally here to kill Zhou Jie. However, the Black Feather Star Master didn't have time to think too much. He had no choice but to use less strength to block Zhou Jie's Golden Lotus sword formation first. Then, he would have enough time to counterattack the Red Silk Star Master's attack. Hence, the Black Feather Star Master attacked with his palm and collided with the Golden Lotus sword formation, Pucci. The Black Feather Star Master had underestimated Zhou Jie's attack. At this moment, he didn't take it seriously. As his expression changed drastically, several golden swords pierced through the energy of his palm and hit his armor. The golden sword unexpectedly hit its target, causing Black Feather Star Master to be shocked and distracted. At the same time, it also caused his body to be affected. Although Black Feather Star Master was only slightly injured because of his battle armor, it interrupted the move that Black Feather Star Master was about to use to deal with Red Silk Star Master. "Oh no!" the Black Feather Star Master muttered to himself. At the same time, he concentrated on dodging horizontally in the direction of the force. He attempted to increase the distance between them and reduce the damage caused by the Red Silk Star Master's attack. However, the Red Silk Star Master did not use energy to attack. She knew that the Black Feather Star Master would be in a situation where two fists could not fight against four hands. She planned to use close combat to kill the Black Feather Star Master. Whoosh! Clang! Star Master Red Silk slashed down with her fan and was barely blocked by Star Master Black Feather. However, Star Master Black Feather, who was already in an extremely passive situation, had no power to fight back. Star Mistress Red Silk once again attacked like lightning. Her folding fan exploded with rays of red light energy. Along with the tip of the fan, she attacked Star Mistress Black Feather's vital points. The Black Feather Star Lord resisted with all his might, but it was getting harder and harder for him to withstand. Finally, when the Red Silk Star Lord attacked with her 18th fan, the Black Feather Star Lord made a mistake in his defense. The fan knocked the double-headed saber out of his hand, and the red energy hit his chest, causing him to vomit blood and fly backward. Zhou Jie had been following Star Master Red Silk's attacks since the beginning. Seeing this, he immediately unleashed his mental power. Golden Lotus Sword Array, Invincible! The Golden Lotus Sword Array was activated very quickly. In addition, the Golden Lotus Sword Array was waiting for an opportunity to attack around Star Master Black Feather. Therefore, when Star Master Black Feather flew backward and vomited blood, the Golden Lotus Sword Array was formed and stabbed towards Star Master Black Feather from one side. Pucci! With a dull sound, the Golden Lotus Sword Array stabbed into Star Master Black Feather's right abdomen. Then, it pierced through his armor with great difficulty, causing blood to splatter everywhere. Star Master Black Feather's eyes were wide open in anger. He looked at the wound on his abdomen in disbelief. Feeling his life force start to drain away, he instantly felt cold from head to toe. It's over. Star Master Black Feather's final thought flashed through his mind. Then, dozens of thin red lines sealed his surroundings, cutting off his last hope of escaping. Of course, the moment his abdomen was pierced, Star Master Black Feather realized that he was definitely going to die. Therefore, he didn't think of escaping. Facing Star Mistress Red Silk's powerful attack, he roared angrily and attacked Star Mistress Red Silk's head with his life on the line. Pucci! Blood splattered again. Star Master Black Feather's head was thrown high into the air. His eyes were wide open and he looked like he had died with a grievance. At the last moment, Star Mistress Red Silk lowered her head and dodged Star Master Black Feather's attack on her head. Then, the folding fan in her hand suddenly accelerated and slashed towards Star Master Black Feather's neck. The injured Star Master Black Feather didn't have time to change his move and instantly died. Seeing this, Zhou Jie instantly heaved a sigh of relief. Then, he became vigilant again and quickly recalled the Golden Lotus Sword Array. After the Red Silk Star Master killed the Black Feather Star Master, she hovered in midair. She watched as the Black Feather Star Master's corpse fell to the ground. She suddenly felt something empty in her heart, and an indescribable sadness welled up in her heart. Brother! Sister has avenged you! After a long time, Star Mistress Red Silk took a deep breath and softly said this sentence. Zhou Jie looked at Star Mistress Red Silk's back. Hearing her sudden words, he suddenly felt emotional. At the same time, he also relaxed his vigilance. At this moment, he believed that he wouldn't be in danger anymore. After a few seconds, Star Mistress Red Silk turned around in the air and flew to a place less than 5 meters away from Zhou Jie and landed. Senior Red Silk. Zhou Jie saw Star Mistress Red Silk approaching and nodded slightly. Star Mistress Red Silk continued to walk 3 steps toward Zhou Jie and then stop. She looked at Zhou Jie and said, "This time I have to thank you. If it wasn't for you, I might not have been able to kill Black Feather." Hearing Star Mistress Red Silk's words, Zhou Jie immediately felt more at ease. Hence he said, "Senior, you don't have to be so polite. I should be the one thanking you. If it wasn't for you saving me first, I might have already died." Star Mistress Red Silk was silent for a moment. Then, she ignored Star Master Black Feather and suddenly asked, "That's right. What mission are you here for? Have you joined the 5 major forces in the star field?" Hearing this, Zhou Jie was slightly stunned. Then, he answered truthfully, "I just started exploring the galaxy. Not long ago, I took the Bounty Hunter assessment and accepted a mission to kill Zerg. Hence I came here." "So, you've joined the Bounty Hunter Alliance?" Star Mistress Red Silk suddenly frowned and asked. When Zhou Jie heard Star Mistress Red Silk's attitude, he couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. However, he still said calmly, "Yes, I just joined." Hearing this, Star Mistress Red Silk nodded slightly and said, "Well, then you probably haven't come into contact with the Bounty Hunter Alliance's internal affairs. That's good. As long as you haven't been pulled in as an internal member, you're dispensable in the Bounty Hunter Alliance." "Senior, what do you mean by that?" Zhou Jie couldn't help but ask in confusion. When Star Mistress Red Silk heard this, she immediately answered frankly, "It's nothing. I just want you to join our Star Sword Alliance. Our Star Sword Alliance is the leader of the 5 major forces. We pay a lot of attention to the cultivation of geniuses. I see that you're very young, but you have such strength. It's not easy. In addition, you helped me kill Black Feather. Hence, I want you to join the Star Sword Alliance. Then, I can recommend you to participate in the upcoming Apex Genius Competition." Apex Genius Competition? Zhou Jie couldn't help but repeat this term. He suddenly remembered that Kakashi seemed to have told him that the Star Sword Alliance paid a lot of attention to the cultivation of geniuses. It seemed that they had even established an elite cultivation base specifically for the cultivation of geniuses. Yes. Star Mistress Red Silk thought that Zhou Jie was asking about the Apex Genius Competition, so she immediately explained, "The Apex Genius Competition is a Starfield-level competition sponsored by the Star Sword Alliance. At first, it was completely organized by the Star Sword Alliance. In recent years, it has been jointly organized by the 5 major forces of the Starfield level. However, the Star Sword Alliance is still the main organizer. This Apex Genius Competition can be said to be a gathering of countless geniuses in the Starfield level. The requirements for the participants are very strict. Only those who have reached rank X can participate, and they must be under the age of 35. Just this rule alone makes many self-proclaimed geniuses feel powerless." When Star Mistress Red Silk said this, she looked at Zhou Jie and asked, "You should be less than 30 years old, right?" Zhou Jie heard this and nodded. "Yes." Star Mistress Red Silk suddenly smiled and said, "That's good. With your strength, if you prepare well, you might be able to enter the elite cultivation base of a level 1 subleague. That way I can also benefit from it." Level 1 subleague? Zhou Jie heard this and asked a little awkwardly. Star Mistress Red Silk saw this and patiently explained, the Star Sword Alliance is a very large organization that crosses the star sectors. Naturally, there is only one headquarters. However, since it can spread its influence throughout the entire starfield level, it naturally has many branches. These branches are divided into Level 1 subleagues, Level 2 subleagues, and Level 3 subleagues according to the size of their management area and authority. For ordinary star sectors like ours, there are only a few Level 3 subleagues and only one Level 3 subleague headquarters. Regardless of the level of headquarters, some of them have elite cultivation bases to cultivate elites of the corresponding level. Chapter 60. Zhou Jie nodded slightly. Indeed, for a large organization like the Star Sword Alliance, there would naturally be many branches. However, some galaxies were more developed while others were less developed. The division of the Alliance would naturally need to be segregated into different levels to achieve better resource allocation and corresponding management. Then, Senior, I still need to return to the Bounty Hunter Association to hand in the mission items. Only then will I be able to receive the mission reward. If you have any arrangements, you can tell me now. We can proceed after I hand in the mission. How about it? Zhou Jie thought for a moment and said. The Red Silk Star Master understood this very well. She nodded and said, well, since you have completed the mission, you naturally have to hand it in. Otherwise, it would have been a waste. However, you don't have to hand it in yourself. I can send someone to do it for you. How about you stay here and train for a while? Zhou Jie was slightly surprised by the Red Silk Star Master's words. Out of vigilance, he did not know if he should agree or not. The Red Silk Star Master saw this and seemed to understand Zhou Jie's concerns. She explained, I am in charge of the research base on planet Zerg. There are many resources and equipment there that can help you train. There is still a year and a half before the Genius competition. I hope that you have more time to strengthen yourself. If you hand in the mission, it will take at least 1 or 2 months, right? After saying this, the Red Silk Star Master was afraid that Zhou Jie would still be worried, so she added, Don't worry, I won't be like Heyu, who covets your treasures. What I want is for you to obtain a certain ranking in the Genius competition. As the person who recommended you, I can receive a reward that might help me break through my bottleneck. The Red Silk Star Master made it so clear, which made Zhou Jie a little embarrassed. He immediately nodded and said, Senior Red Silk, you are too serious. I just felt that this matter was too sudden, so I hesitated. Since Senior has said so, I am naturally happy to agree. Okay. The Red Silk Star Master saw this and could not help but nod. What is your name? Zhou Jie. Zhou Jie answered truthfully. Good, come with me. I will bring you to the research base on planet Zerg. I will send someone to help you hand in the mission and retrieve the reward items, the Red Silk Star Master quickly said. A few minutes later, Zhou Jie sat in the Red Silk Star Master's spaceship and started chatting with her. So you chose to become stronger because you needed revenge for your younger brother's death. Fortunately, you and I have already taken our revenge, the Red Silk Star Master said. Zhou Jie had lost his younger brother. When Star Master Red Silk said this, Zhou Jie lowered his head and fell into silence. Naturally, he thought of his little brother again. Although they were still very young at that time, the scene of his little brother being killed by Ross was still unforgettable, and the memory was still fresh in his mind. The Red Silk Star Master saw this, and seemed to understand why Zhou Jie was like this. She did not ask any more questions. She only picked up the teacup on the side table and silently drank the tea. After a few minutes, the spaceship's speed started to decrease. Soon it stopped. At this time, the Red Silk Star Master stood up and said, We have arrived. Follow me. Just as Star Lord Red Silk finished speaking, the flying ship landed steadily. The cabin door quickly opened as Star-Lord Red Silk walked towards the door. Zhou Jie followed behind the Red Silk Star Master and got off the spaceship. He looked around and realized that he was in an extremely spacious area of hardened muddy ground. A few spaceships of various sizes were parked on both sides of the muddy ground. There was a wide road with a diameter of about 100 meters in the middle. Zhou Jie looked up again. He saw that there was a faint energy fluctuation at a certain height above his head. He knew that there was an invisible energy shield there. It was specially used to isolate the effects of the harsh environment. Red Silk Star Master saw Zhou Jie looking around and said, "Let's go. This is the parking area behind the base." She then walked toward the wide road in the middle. Zhou Jie followed closely behind the Red Silk Star Master and walked out of the parking area. They then entered a completely sealed metal tunnel. After walking along the tunnel for a while, they entered a white tunnel that was 7 to 8 meters wide. Star Mistress Red Silk walked in front without saying a word. Along the way, a few people wearing white coats passed by and called out "Star Mistress" in fear and trepidation. After receiving a nod from Star Mistress Red Silk, they quickened their pace and walked away. Just like that, Zhou Jie followed the Red Silk Star Master to a spacious training field in the middle of the base. It was a square that was more than 400 meters long. There was a large dome above the field, making the entire field look even bigger. There was also some basic equipment for measuring strength and speed at the edge of the field. There was even a huge spherical room. Zhou Jie guessed that it was a gravity room. However, what made Zhou Jie feel strange was that there was not a single person in the huge training field. At this time, the Red Silk Star Master turned to Zhou Jie and said, "You have seen it too. This is the base's training field. However, it is only open at certain times. There will be guards training here. Most of the time, it is empty. The only thing that is useful to you is the gravity room. It can be adjusted to 300 times the standard gravity. Sometimes I will train in there as well. However, I will let you use it for this period of time." Red Silk Star Master spoke halfway and pointed to the black spherical room at the edge of the field. Zhou Jie heard this and nodded. He immediately said gratefully, "Thank you, Senior. Then, give me your mission information and mission items. I will send people to help you retrieve your rewards." Red Silk Star Master continued. Therefore, Zhou Jie did not hesitate to take out the Zerg's forearms from his space ring and handed them to Red Silk Star Master. Then, he told her about his mission information. Red Silk Star Master took the 4 Zerg's forearms. Her gaze paused on Zhou Jie's space ring for a moment. However, she did not reveal any greed. She continued to speak calmly, "Well, wait here for a moment. I will find someone to arrange a place for you. After that, you can walk around the base freely. However, do not enter the areas that are marked unauthorized persons only. Understand?" "Understood." Zhou Jie naturally replied straightforwardly. Red Silk Star Master then turned and left. After waiting for about 2 minutes, an elegant middle-aged man in a black suit walked in front of Zhou Jie. He bowed slightly and said, "Hello, Mr. Zhou. I am the manager here. My name is Yang Yun. The Star Master has asked me to arrange a place for you. Please follow me." Therefore, Zhou Jie followed Yang Yun to a white building. In front of a room on the 2nd floor, Yang Yun opened the door and gave the key to Zhou Jie. He then showed Zhou Jie the interior of the room. The room was almost completely milky white. The walls and floor were made of metal. Under the white light they reflected a faint white halo. Only the large white bed in the middle seemed very thick and soft. The items and facilities in the room were also relatively complete. The commonly used virtual network equipment was available. Other than the lack of a kitchen, it was perfect. "Mr. Zhou, there is no kitchen here. If you need food, you can go to the cafeteria. Food is provided all day long. If you have any other questions, you can tell me now or contact me when the time comes." The first number saved in the communicator is mine. Yang Yun said to Zhou Jie. There's no problem for the time being. Thank you. Zhou Jie was still very satisfied with his house, so he nodded slightly. After a while, Yang Yun left. Zhou Jie familiarized himself with the room a little. After locking the door, he went to the training ground. He could not wait to use the gravity room. 300 times the standard gravity. Zhou Jie felt excited just thinking about it. Although he had a concept of gravity, he did not know if he could withstand the so-called 300 times standard gravity. Previously, Zhou Jie had used 100 times standard gravity on the spaceship in the Galaxy Munitions Factory. However, due to the defects in the manufacturing of the gravity room and the wear and tear of the equipment over a long period of time, the gravity room on the spaceship could not reach 100 times standard gravity. It did not even reach 95 times standard gravity. As Zhou Jie approached the gravity room, he discovered that the entrance was wide open. The room was empty and there was nothing inside. However, this was a natural situation. Zhou Jie stood at the entrance for a few seconds before entering the gravity room. Based on his previous experience using the gravity room on the spaceship, Zhou Jie found a series of control buttons near the entrance. Click, bang. Zhou Jie pressed a button and the door of the gravity room closed. Then, Zhou Jie pressed the button for 100 times standard gravity. Chapter 61. The gravity room was activated, and 100 times the standard gravity suddenly appeared. Although Zhou Jie was prepared, he still lost his balance and almost fell to the ground. The gravity here seems to be a little stronger than on the spaceship. It's beyond my expectations. Zhou Jie struggled to stand up straight as he breathed heavily. Then, Zhou Jie adjusted his condition and began to warm up. After a round of warming up, Zhou Jie felt that he had adapted to the gravity, so he took out the Kadi's blade and began to practice close combat swordsmanship. A few minutes later, Zhou Jie felt a little exhausted, so he continued to circulate the energy in his body to recover. He sat cross-legged on the ground and controlled the golden lotus sword to dance in the air. Under 100 times the standard gravity, Zhou Jie found it extremely difficult to control the golden lotus sword. Just driving it 10 meters away was already close to his limit. Moreover, once it was split into 144 golden swords, driving it was as slow as a swamp. If he was not careful, a few golden swords would fall off. It was impossible to form the golden lotus sword array. However, Zhou Jie also knew that the more difficult something was, the more it meant that he had trained to the limit. This kind of training was the most effective. Therefore, after Zhou Jie drove the golden lotus sword to 10 meters away, he began to try to control the golden lotus sword by splitting it into 144 golden swords. Clang! 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 As soon as the golden lotus sword was split, a few golden swords fell to the ground, making a crisp sound of metal colliding. However, under the terrifying gravity, the golden swords could not bounce back up after falling to the ground and were stuck to the metal floor. Hoo! The veins on Zhou Jie's forehead bulged, and his body began to tremble slightly. Although he was using his mental strength, Zhou Jie's appearance at this moment was as if he was experiencing the last leg of a marathon that had been squeezed to the limit. He was sweating profusely, and his breath had become very unstable. After the golden swords fell to the ground, Zhou Jie found that it was almost impossible to pick them up again. After several attempts, Zhou Jie dropped even more golden swords, which consumed a lot of his mental power. After a few seconds of dying struggle, finally, with a clang, all the golden swords fell to the ground. After relaxing his mental power, Zhou Jie did not feel relaxed. Instead, he felt dizzy and the back of his head suddenly hurt. However, the strengthening of his mental power was reflected in his brain. Zhou Jie could still feel that his brain had slightly increased due to the appropriate overdraft just now. After a comprehensive overdraft, Zhou Jie began to recover himself. First, he recovered his energy with all his strength. With the continuous improvement of his strength, Zhou Jie increasingly felt the importance of the energy in his body. It was like a torrent. Usually, it was highly concentrated and hidden in every cell in his body. When he used it, it quickly spread out and gathered. It was like an extension of his arm, allowing him to burst out several times the strength under normal circumstances. It was enough to break gold and break stone. After a few hours, Zhou Jie's energy was fully recovered, and then he began to take the initiative to recover his mental power. However, in fact, with Zhou Jie's current level, his understanding and use of mental power was still very low. It could not even be considered a beginner. Therefore, his mental power recovery mainly relied on the recuperation of his brain. Now, he was only using energy to nourish his brain cells to promote the recovery of his mental power. After more than 3 hours, Zhou Jie felt that he had almost recovered, so he began the previous training again. In this cycle, Zhou Jie persisted for almost 3 days and 3 nights. During this time, Red Silk wanted to talk to Zhou Jie about the summit tournament, but she did not expect Zhou Jie to stay in the gravity room for a few days. Therefore, she gave up and planned to talk to Zhou Jie later. After 3 days of training, Zhou Jie finally found that his recovery speed had decreased by a lot. Whether it was his energy recovery speed or mental power recovery speed, they were all increased by more than an hour. Moreover, his body was more prone to fatigue. This made him realize that his previous recovery was not complete. Therefore, the fatigue continued to accumulate, leading to his current situation. Therefore, Zhou Jie planned to rest for half a day, eat a good meal, and then sleep before continuing his training. After 2 months, Zhou Jie increased the intensity of his previous training and increased the difficulty of his mental power training. After another 2 months, Zhou Jie began to use 110 times gravity. After Zhou Jie used 110 times gravity for 9 days, he was summoned by Star Lord Red Silk. Red Silk gave Zhou Jie 3 boxes of grade 10 nutrient fluids. Then, she said to Zhou Jie, "There is still a little more than a year before the summit tournament begins. I see that you have worked hard enough, so I have more confidence in you. Take these nutrient fluids and use them first. Once they are used up, I will give you more next month." Zhou Jie was flattered. He wanted to refuse, but in the end, he was persuaded by Red Silk and accepted the 3 boxes of grade 10 nutrient fluids. Then, Red Silk said to Zhou Jie, "Cultivate as usual. In the last 1 or 2 months, I will give you special training again. After that, I will bring you to the nearest level 3 Alliance branch. You will be recommended by me, so you do not need to participate in the preliminaries. Just wait there and be sent to the level 2 Alliance's division." Hearing this, Zhou Jie nodded, half understanding. "Okay, I will listen to Senior's arrangements." Red Silk did not say anything else and let Zhou Jie take the nutrient fluids and leave. Time flowed like water. Zhou Jie cultivated in the gravity room day after day. His strength was also slowly increasing. Of course, this slow speed was too fast for ordinary grade 10 cultivators. Zhou Jie's strength had reached the peak of the X level. Theoretically, he could fight a Star Lord if he unleashed his full strength. However, while Zhou Jie was preparing for the Apex Genius competition, there were also many extraordinary geniuses who were preparing for the upcoming competition. The Raging Fire Galaxy, the Raging Fire Planet, was a planet completely controlled by the Raging Fire family. The galaxy it was located in was also called Raging Fire. Obviously, it was also influenced by the Raging Fire family. The Raging Fire family, also known as the Lai family, was an extremely ancient family that had existed for more than 50,000 years. Even the Skysea Cosmic Nation, which had the longest history of the 5 top forces in the current star field, did not have as long a history as the Lie family. Such a long history naturally required the support of a strong foundation. The founder of the Lie family was an extremely powerful Horde Lord. Although the Lie family did not compete for hegemony when he was alive, its influence at that time was only second to the 5 top forces. Although the founder of the Lie family had died, and there was no news of a new Horde Lord, its terrifying heritage made it impossible for any force in the Wanton Sea star zone to underestimate it. At this moment, in the Lie family's castle on the Raging Fire planet, in an empty training ground, a skinny young man with short red hair was fighting against a Star Lord in white armor. What was terrifying was that the red-haired young man was only grade 10. However, his strength was astonishing, and his attacks were accompanied by flames. The Star Lord was in a difficult situation. "Show me your real strength. It's not satisfying." The red-haired young man roared at some point and punched the white-armored Star Lord away. The white-armored Star Master was shocked to be knocked back by a punch. But when he heard the words, he immediately used all his strength and replied, "Young Master, be careful. Dragon Flame Fist." The white-armored Star Lord roared and punched with all his strength. The powerful force twisted the air and caused the space to tremble slightly. The red-haired young man also used all his strength and punched out without any fancy moves, but the fire energy on his body was even more violent. Bang! After a violent collision, the white-armored Star Lord's body was thrown high into the air, and blood splashed out. The red-haired young man landed heavily on the ground and cursed after standing up. "Damn it, so weak. Did you not eat?" In the dean's office in the headquarters of the Mysterious Land Academy, a sloppy old man with a white beard looked at the white-clothed young man in front of the desk and said with a lewd smile, "Ching Kong, you have to participate in this year's competition." "Why?" The white-clothed young man was confused because he didn't think that participating in this so-called competition was meaningful to him. "Because you're the treasure of our academy. It's time to take you out to dry. Besides, it's quite amazing this time. That little monster from the Lie family is participating, so is the kid from the Lee family, the Lie family's rival. Then, because of these two people, Veronica from the Star Sword Alliance is also participating. You're the perfect person to join in the fun," the sloppy old man said with a lewd smile. Chapter 62. After hearing the sloppy old man's words, the young man's eyes sharpened, and he said loudly, "Veronica? Okay, I'll participate." "That's right. You just need to prepare a little in the last few months. You don't have to participate in the preliminary round. I'll ask Old Xing to send you directly to the second-level competition venue to participate in the preliminary round," the sloppy old man said with a smile when he saw the white-clothed young man agree. Skysea Cosmic Nation, Skysea Nation's capital. In the dark and spacious hall, there were only 2 people in it. One of them was the Skysea Universe country's leader, who was sitting on a high throne. The other was a tall and sturdy youth in silver-blue armor kneeling in the middle of the hall. "Leba, do you know why I've called you here?" The leader of Skysea Universe country, dressed in a sky-blue robe, asked from the high platform. "I don't know," the armored young man, Leba, who was kneeling on the ground, replied. Although his posture was extremely low, his voice was loud and powerful, and it was filled with confidence. The king of Skysea Cosmic Nation said, "It's because I've chosen you for this year's Pinnacle Genius competition. Not long ago, I took you in as a registered disciple because your performance was the best. Even among my official disciples, there aren't many who are better than you in the mortal body stage. Coincidentally, this year's Pinnacle Genius competition is different from the past, so I've decided to send you in. If you can enter the top 8, I'll take you in as a core disciple. If you can enter the top 4 or even win, I'll take you in as a direct disciple. Leiba heard this and was very excited, but he suppressed his emotions and bowed. Thank you, my king. I won't let you down and win. Similar situations kept happening in the various superpowers. This meant that Zhou Jie's participation in this year's Pinnacle Genius competition was even more valuable than before. Time continued to pass, and there were less than 5 months left until the Pinnacle Genius competition's preliminaries. On this day, Zhou Jie was cultivating in the gravity room as usual. He was in the middle of recovery, and when he started to think about something, he remembered something. No, this is already the 5th time. I've forgotten about it after the training. I'll end it early this time. Zhou Jie suddenly muttered to himself. Then, he got up and turned off the 120 times gravity with his voice and quickly left the gravity room. Not long ago, in the G-class spaceship in Zhou Jie's spatial ring, Kakashi was rummaging through the kitchen. The Ting tendon noodles are gone. Mrs. Lu's fragrant chicken drumstick was gone. Super Burger King was gone. Lutivi's delicious drinks were gone. Xiangxi crispy noodles? It's gone too. Kakashi rummaged through the remaining 2 piles of food and finally confirmed that he had finished all his favorite food. The rest of the food was defective and couldn't stimulate his appetite. Ugh! So Kakashi simply sat down on the kitchen floor, grabbed a bag of snacks, and started to eat. As he ate, he muttered, Zhou Jie, you heartless man, bah, you heartless big bad guy, are you dead or not? You left me here alone, helpless, alone, hanging by a thread. Kakashi's eyes suddenly lit up. He jumped up from the floor and ran out of the kitchen ecstatically, muttering, Zhou Jie, you're finally here. At the same time, Zhou Jie had entered the G-class spaceship and was walking toward the central corridor. The kitchen happened to be near the central corridor. When Kakashi was less than 100 meters away from Zhou Jie sensed the movement caused by Kakashi's movement and immediately walked toward Kakashi. Jocko, I missed you so much. Kakashi and Zhou Jie met at the corner. Kakashi immediately jumped into Zhou Jie's arms and shouted loudly. Zhou Jie was hit in the chest by Kakashi's headbutt, and his breathing stagnated. He subconsciously hugged Kakashi to his waist and said helplessly, Sorry, I've been busy with training recently and forgot to let you out. Kakashi heard this and swept away his previous complaints about Zhou Jie's absence. He said generously, It's okay. It's just leaving me alone for a few months. Jocko, your training is the most important. Zhou Jie heard this and couldn't help but feel warm in his heart. He still hugged Kakashi but said, But in the current situation, you still can't go out. I don't want Red Silk to find you. What? I still can't go out? Wow, I was just joking. I want to go out and eat good food. Kakashi heard Zhou Jie's words and his expression changed. Zhou Jie had no choice but to tell Kakashi about his experience after Kakashi went into hibernation. Only then did Kakashi understand the reason. Wow, I'm so pitiful. Jocko, where did you put the spaceship now? Aren't you afraid of being found out? Kakashi suddenly asked. It's in the training ground. There's usually no one in the training ground, so no one will find it for the time being. Even if they find out, it's fine. Red Silk knows that I have a spaceship and a space ring, Zhou Jie explained calmly. That's good. Kakashi immediately curled his lips and thought for a moment. But Jocko, you want to participate in the Summit Genius competition. I have to find a way to help you. Otherwise, with your current strength, it'll be very difficult for you to win the Summit Genius competition. That would be too embarrassing for the Sacred Land's heritage. Zhou Jie was so shocked that he almost choked when he heard Kakashi's words. He said dumbfoundedly, Kakashi, your requirements are too high. Champion of the Genius competition? This is a Star Realm level competition with countless geniuses. It won't be as easy as you think to win. Hearing Zhou Jie's words, Kakashi curled his lips and said, that's true. but it's mainly because there's not much time left. I was planning to wait for Jocko to reach the Star Lord level before I started practicing the Sacred Land's various ultimate skills. Now that I can't reach the Star Lord level, I have to greatly increase my strength in a short time without the resources of the Sacred Land. So, forget it. I'll try my best, Zhou Jie said. Forget it? How can I forget it? No, I have to find a way for you. If we want to win, we have to win. Kakashi raised his head and said. Zhou Jie was stunned again. Then what are you going to do? Zhou Jie was curious about where Kakashi's confidence came from. I have an idea. It'll be a bit painful, right? Come on, Jocko, let me tell you. Half a month before the preliminaries of the Apex Genius competition, Zhou Jie was still training in the gravity room. Moreover, he was training under 150 times the normal gravity, and he would often stay there for over 10 days. This situation was much better than when Zhou Jie talked with Kakashi a few months ago. A few months ago, Zhou Jie could only stay in 130 times gravity for 3 or 4 days. The reason why Zhou Jie could become so much stronger in less than half a year was because of Kakashi's bad idea. Although the result was very satisfactory to Zhou Jie didn't want to go through the process again. And this process was actually very simple. That was, Zhou Jie constantly tried to mobilize the power of the Thunder Soul Pearl to refine his body. Moreover, it was under dozens of times the gravity. The Thunder Soul Pearl was a part of the Emperor weapon, and its power was comparable to that of an Emperor weapon. It had the power to destroy the stars. Zhou Jie couldn't use all of it at the moment. He could only draw it out bit by bit, as if he was drawing water from deep underground. Even so, Zhou Jie was almost seriously injured when he tried to use it to refine his body. Moreover, in the process of tempering one's body with the power of thunder and lightning, the pain was something that anyone who used it would know. Zhou Jie had never thought that such a violent power could be used to temper his body. It was only with the method taught to him by Kakashi that he was barely able to do it. The result was that Zhou Jie's physical strength soared crazily. Although he hadn't condensed a star core and become a Star Lord, the hallmark of a Star Lord was to condense energy into a star core. Zhou Jie felt that he was stronger than the average Star Lord. This was the fundamental reason why he could easily train under 150 times gravity for more than 10 days. I have to go to the location of the preliminaries today. Let's call it a day. After a round of training under 160 times gravity, Zhou Jie walked to the door of the gravity room with sweat all over his body and turned off the supergravity system. Chapter 63. After Zhou Jie left the gravity room, he first returned to his room to take a bath with the last bit of X-grade nutrient fluid he had left. Then, he dressed and headed to Star Master Red Silk's residence. Half an hour later, Zhou Jie boarded Star Master Red Silk's spaceship and followed Star Master Red Silk to the location of the preliminaries. After spending close to half a month's time and passing through a wormhole, Zhou Jie's spaceship arrived at the location of the preliminaries chosen by Star Master Red Silk, the Star Sword Alliance's Level 3 Subleague branch on planet Canberra. Before the spaceship landed, Zhou Jie saw the full view of the Level 3 Subleague branch through the projection screen in the spaceship. Looking from above, it was a huge square metal base. It was similar to the research base on planet Zerg, but it was 2 to 3 times bigger. Moreover, it had more large buildings and was even larger. There was even a laser cannon that was tens of meters tall set up at the front of the base. It was an eye-opener for Zhou Jie. Such a large laser cannon, Zhou Jie estimated that even his G-grade spaceship would not be able to withstand a single shot from it. Soon, Star Master Red Silk's spaceship passed the certification of the Alliance branch and began to descend into the base below. Zhou Jie, I'll bring you directly to register as a recommended person later. You don't have to participate in the preliminaries, Star Master Red Silk said at this time. Okay. Zhou Jie nodded. Red Silk Star Lord had told him about this a long time ago. It was just that he didn't know that he had to register. When the spaceship approached the docking area, Zhou Jie discovered that the docking area below was surrounded by corridors separated by high-strength transparent glass. What made Zhou Jie somewhat surprised was that there was a long queue in one of the corridors. There were even staff members responsible for maintaining order at the side. Zhou Jie looked at this scene for a long time and suddenly understood. Hence, he asked Star Master Red Silk, "Are those people in the queue here to participate in the preliminaries?" "Yes." Red Silk Star Lord glanced at those people that Zhou Jie asked before answering. Zhou Jie couldn't help but be secretly shocked when he received the confirmation. Those who came to participate in the preliminaries of the Genius Tournament had to be Level X experts, and Level X experts were few and far between even on planets like Planet Killer. They were almost extinct on most planets with life. However, this was only one of the Level 3 subguilds of the Star Sword Alliance, which was one of the locations for the preliminaries. Over 100 Level X experts had come to participate in the preliminaries. This inevitably shocked Zhou Jie, who hadn't seen much of the world. However, Zhou Jie thought about it and felt that this was normal. After all, although it was only a Level 3 division of the Star Sword Alliance, it was still able to control more than 10 star systems around it. On average, there were almost 100 habitable planets in each star system. Even if there was only one Class X on each planet, there would still be more than that. Soon, Zhou Jie followed Star Master Red Silk out of the spaceship and followed her all the way to the registration of the Genius Tournament's nominees. When Star Master Red Silk registered Zhou Jie's information, Zhou Jie saw that there were already 7 names on the electronic recommendation list. Zhou Jie knew that these people were also exempted from the preliminaries like him. After that, Zhou Jie and Star Master Red Silk arrived at a spacious hall. There were 200 to 300 blue fixed chairs in the hall, but only 20 or so people were sitting there. These people have all passed the preliminaries. You can wait here. There will be a spaceship in the evening to pick you up. Someone will arrange for you to take it to the Level 2 Alliance headquarters. There are very good training grounds and resources there, so it's better to go there early. After Star Master Red Silk brought Zhou Jie to the hall, she said to Zhou Jie, "The spaceship is not allowed to carry contestants. Besides, I still have things to do, so I'll send you off here. I look forward to the news of you passing the preliminaries and entering the top 1,000. When Zhou Jie heard Star Master Red Silk's words and thought about how she had sent him all the way, he immediately felt grateful. Hence, he nodded and said, "Definitely." After Star Master Red Silk left, Zhou Jie, like the others, randomly chose a seat in the hall and sat down. Then, he quietly waited for the time to depart. When it was close to 5 in the evening, there were already 50 to 60 people in the hall. Furthermore, no one had entered for more than 2 hours. This meant that the hundreds of contestants who had lined up at noon had already been eliminated. The passing rate was clearly less than 40%. However, although Zhou Jie was a little surprised by this, since he had been recommended, his strength was definitely enough to pass the preliminaries. This meant that his strength back then, referring to the time when Star Master Red Silk first met Zhou Jie, was at least among the people in the hall. If that's the case, it shouldn't be difficult for me to enter the top 1,000. Zhou Jie secretly calculated in his heart. In fact, he still had the goal of entering the top 100 or even the top 50. This was also because of the confidence that the Thunder Soul Pearl had given him. After waiting for another 10 minutes, a staff member finally came over and asked Zhou Jie and the other contestants to line up and board the spaceship in an orderly manner. Not long after Zhou Jie sat down in order on the spaceship, a staff member of the spaceship informed them that the spaceship would arrive at the preliminaries location in 35 days. Furthermore, the spaceship would provide sufficient capsule rooms and food. However, Zhou Jie was the same as most of the contestants. During these 35 days, he did not eat or go to his capsule room. Instead, he occupied the gravity room in the spaceship to the brim. Furthermore, because there were too many people, everyone discussed and split into two groups to use the spaceship for half a day. When the spaceship arrived at the venue, Zhou Jie and the others disembarked from the spaceship. They found themselves under a huge silver-white metal dome. There were only 8 white pillars that were 2 to 3 meters thick on all sides, supporting the 30-meter-tall dome. The spaceship that was picking them up was suspended on one side of the dome platform, slowly retracting the escalator into the cabin. Welcome, another batch of elites participating in the preliminaries of the Apex Genius competition. At this time, a middle-aged man in a suit and leather shoes appeared behind Zhou Jie and the others. He greeted everyone with a loud and clear voice. When Zhou Jie and the others heard the voice, the middle-aged man continued, "This is the venue of the preliminaries, on an artificial planet. The building you are now in is called the White Building. It will be your residence for the next period of time." The middle-aged man paused for a moment before continuing with a smile. "Of course, I know you're concerned about the competition. The preliminaries have already started before you arrived, but they'll be carried out in batches of 50 people each. Each batch will have 24 hours of competition time. Now, there's a batch of contestants in the competition, so it's not your turn yet. So, follow the staff's guidance and find your assigned room to settle down. Wait for the voice notification from the room and the corridor about the start of the competition. In addition, everyone is tired from the long journey. Your rooms are equipped with X-grade nutrient solution. Take a bath and relax. Have a good time before the competition." The middle-aged man smiled and bowed to everyone. Then, he began to arrange for the staff to lead Zhou Jie and the others down the stairs of the platform. The so-called White Building looked like a thick white cylinder from afar. There was a high dome supporting the top. The White Building itself was more than 300 meters high and covered an area of more than 150 meters in diameter. There were a total of 100 floors, and each floor had 30 rooms. At most, it could accommodate 3,000 people in a single room. It was more than enough for everyone involved in the preliminaries. After Zhou Jie received a room number from the staff, which could be used as an electronic key, he excitedly found his room. It was 02802, which was the second room on the 28th floor. After Zhou Jie entered his room, he found that the furnishings inside were simple. There was a bathroom, a bedroom, a bed, and a thin tablet computer in the bedroom. At this moment, the thin tablet computer was placed on the bedside. The screen was lit and there were some words on it. Zhou Jie curiously walked over and looked at the words on the screen. He found that it was actually about the preliminaries. The preliminaries for this year's Apex Genius competition are as follows. Contestants will be placed in groups of 50 in the wilderness of the artificial planet. They will hunt all visible creatures, excluding other contestants. Contestants are forbidden to fight. Violators will be disqualified. Finally, they will be ranked according to their points. The top 1,000 contestants will enter the top 1,000 competition. Note: contestants with the same number of points will be ranked according to their time of achievement. Below, there are various creatures in the wilderness and the corresponding points. Chapter 64. At this point, the contents on the screen needed to be flipped. Hence, Zhou Jie swiped the screen, and the following content appeared: Red-eyed rabbit. A mutant rabbit with white fur and red eyes. Every kill is worth 10 points. Black winged leopard. A black-colored, blue-eyed leopard. Every kill is worth 20 points. Lightning ape. An ape with dark purple fur. You can get 30 points for each kill. Cyan sky falcon. A falcon with dark cyan feathers. You can get 50 points for each kill. Crypt guard. A beast with a black carapace. Every kill is worth 100 points. Golden armored behemoth. A giant, reptilian beast with golden scales. Every kill is worth 500 points. Titan ape, the only powerful ape in the field. Every kill is worth 3,000 points. Every contestant will be given a point recording belt. The belt will automatically lock onto the target of the contestant's hunt. Once the target is locked onto, it will not be able to be locked onto by other contestants' belt systems. In other words, other contestants will not be able to snatch the target. Unless they give up on the target, or if they are a certain distance away from the target, the belt system will automatically remove the lock. When the contestant kills the corresponding creature, the belt system will automatically judge and record the point. At the same time, the belt will remind the contestant of the remaining time every 2 hours. In addition, the belt also has an energy protection device. Once activated, an energy shield will be formed to resist strong damage. However, after using it, the contestant will be disqualified from continuing the competition. The points will be deducted directly, and the staff will immediately come to remove the contestant from the competition site. In addition, all the creatures killed will be used as food for breeding. Contestants, please do not destroy the corpses if possible. At this point, the text on the screen had been displayed. However, Zhou Jie was still in shock. The difference between the points of the creatures killed was really huge. Especially the last Titan ape, which was worth 3,000 points. Didn't this mean that whoever killed the Titan giant ape would be able to enter the top 1,000? But this Titan ape is worth 3,000 points, and it's the only one in the field. This shows how terrifying its strength is. I'm afraid I won't be able to deal with it easily. Zhou Jie quickly realized that the higher the points of these creatures, the more difficult it would be to kill them. Creatures like the Titan giant ape, which had a terrifying amount of points, would naturally have terrifying strength. In order to kill it, one would need overwhelming strength. Otherwise, just being able to deal with it would be far from enough. As Zhou Jie thought about this, he looked at the computer screen and pondered for a while. Then, he turned off the computer screen, got up, and walked into the bathroom. Who cares? I'll use the X-grade nutrient solution to take a bath first. After taking a bath, Zhou Jie came out of the bathroom in high spirit. He felt that his body had reached its peak, which made him want to go to the gravity room to vent. Unfortunately, he couldn't find a gravity room, so Zhou Jie could only lie on the bed and close his eyes to rest while thinking about something. About an hour later, a staff member knocked on the door. After Zhou Jie opened the door, the staff member smiled and gave him a belt, saying, "This is your point record belt for participating in the qualifier. It also has your match time. Please pay attention to it. Sorry to disturb you." Zhou Jie nodded. Then, the staff member bowed slightly, pushed the cart away, and went to the room next to Zhou Jie's. Zhou Jie closed the door, took the belt, and sat on the bed. Then, he studied the belt. After a while, Zhou Jie learned from the information on the belt that his match time was at 1 o'clock in the afternoon the day after tomorrow. At that time, there would be a special notice. Zhou Jie could accept waiting for only about a day and a half. However, since he had nothing to do, he finally chose to sleep peacefully on the bed. Soon, it was half an hour before the match. There are still 30 minutes before the start of the qualifier. Please get ready. Gather at the white building's rooftop now. After the electronic voice in the room finished broadcasting, Zhou Jie jumped out of bed and left his room. After more than a minute, Zhou Jie arrived at the white building's rooftop. There were already groups of contestants there, as well as several staff members in uniforms. A whale-shaped spaceship was hovering on the side of the rooftop. Obviously, it was ready to take them to the match venue. After about 3 or 4 minutes, all the contestants rushed to the rooftop. After the staff confirmed the 50 contestants, they used the computer to lock onto Zhou Jie and the others' belt. They entered the match scoring mode, but the timer hadn't started yet. At this time, the man in the suit who greeted Zhou Jie and the others took a few steps forward. He said to Zhou Jie and the others, "All right, contestants, it's a pleasure to meet you again. I believe that everyone has already understood the rules and can't wait to start the match. Since everyone is here, please board the spaceship. Once everyone has boarded, our unmanned spaceship will take you to the venue. When the spaceship door opens, it means that the match has begun. Your belts will start the countdown until 24 hours. At the same time, when the match is over, your belts will guide you to the unmanned spaceship. Then, you may return to the White Building and wait for the results of the match to be announced." When Zhou Jie and the others heard this, they began to board the unmanned spaceship under the guidance of the staff. 10 minutes later, the spaceship began to slow down and stop. Zhou Jie and the others who were in it began to feel uneasy. Some of them even had their chests heaving up and down violently, as if they were very nervous. After a slight tremor, the spaceship came to a complete stop. A second later, the hatch opened and a voice sounded from the spaceship. "The match begins." Whoosh! In an instant, several contestants who were near the hatch took the lead and rushed toward the hatch. Zhou Jie, on the other hand, sat upright and still. He didn't get off the spaceship until everyone had alighted. After stepping on the ground, Zhou Jie looked around and found that the spaceship seemed to have landed in an open space in the middle of a wild forest. There were towering ancient trees surrounding it, but they were quite far from each other. The ground was also somewhat dry, so it was called a wild forest. At this moment, the unmanned spaceship behind Zhou Jie automatically closed the hatch and then took off into the air. After hovering for a while, it accelerated and flew away. Zhou Jie saw that the other contestants, after observing for a while, scattered into the forest and gradually walked away. He immediately chose a direction and sped up. Since the match had begun and there were only 24 hours left, Zhou Jie naturally had to hurry up and find creatures to kill to earn points. Zhou Jie ran all the way and finally saw the first creature after more than a minute, a blue sky falcon. However, what made Zhou Jie frown was that the falcon flew at an altitude of 500 meters, and this was because the artificial planet's gravity was 7 to 8 times the standard gravity. Zhou Jie's eyes were fixed on the falcon, watching it gradually fly into the distance and finally stop at the top of an ancient tree 100 meters away, looking around. Good chance. Zhou Jie immediately thought to himself. Just now, he was more than 500 meters away from the falcon, and the falcon was flying, so Zhou Jie did not have absolute confidence that he could kill it with the golden lotus sword. However, now that it had landed on an ancient tree that was only 20 to 30 meters high, Zhou Jie felt that victory is in the bag. In order to prevent others from snatching it, Zhou Jie quickly flew towards the falcon's position. At the same time, the golden lotus sword formed 144 golden swords and shot towards the blue sky falcon. Zhou Jie moved, and in the blink of an eye, he was dozens of meters away. The golden lotus sword was like an arrow that shot straight towards the blue sky falcon. When the blue sky falcon sensed the movement, the golden lotus sword was already very close. Poochie! As expected, the golden sword pierced through the blue sky eagle's body, creating a penetrating wound in its abdomen. The powerful impact caused the eagle, which was about to spread its wings to fly, to flutter a few times in the air. Then, the eagle, which had lost its vitality, fell to the ground. Pa! The falcon fell to the ground, but there was no splash of blood as expected. This was because Zhou Jie considered that these were ingredients, so he used his mind power to buffer it at the last moment, ensuring that the falcon's corpse would not be damaged too much. Suddenly, Zhou Jie's belt made a slight sound. Zhou Jie looked down and found that the display on his belt showed a number that represented 50 points. 50 points in hand. Zhou Jie could not help but say, and then continued to walk forward. Chapter 65. Zhou Jie continued to advance in a certain direction of the desolate forest. While trying his best not to make any large movements, he maintained a speed of around 10 meters per second. He also paid attention to the situation on the ground along the way. At the same time, his spiritual energy radiated out in a radius of 100 meters in front of him, hoping to discover the existence or traces of activity of some creatures. In this manner, Zhou Jie advanced for another 2 minutes or so before discovering the second creature, a red-eyed rabbit. The red-eyed rabbit was extremely vigilant. When Zhou Jie was still over 50 meters away from it, it seemed to have sensed the sound of Zhou Jie's footsteps on the ground. Originally standing there for a long time, it suddenly turned around and leaped with its powerful legs, running away like an arrow released from a bow. However, Zhou Jie's speed was much faster than the red-eyed rabbit's, and the golden swords were even faster than the speed of sound. Thus, when Zhou Jie discovered the red-eyed rabbit, he activated the golden lotus sword flower. The red-eyed rabbit had only run a dozen or so meters before it was pierced by several golden swords. It then rolled forward for a distance before it stopped moving. His belt once again emitted a light sound, and the number displayed on the screen changed to 60. It's already been 15 minutes, and I've only obtained 60 points. Looks like I have to find something with a lot of points. Zhou Jie stood in place and suddenly thought to himself, a trace of seriousness between his brows. Although this was what he thought, finding a creature with a lot of points seemed to be completely dependent on luck. Who told the environment of every part of the desolate forest to look the same? There was simply no way to rely on the differences in the environment to determine the possible areas of activity of various creatures. Realizing this point, in addition to the change in his thoughts and goals, Zhou Jie immediately moving forward at a speed 3 times faster than before. Since he was relying on luck, then he could only search a larger area to quickly find the target he wanted. The method of searching for traces like before was obviously not going to work. After Zhou Jie increased his speed, he indeed received very good result. Although he still hadn't encountered a creature with 50 points or more in a short period of time, in just 7 minutes or so, he had discovered 3 red-eyed rabbits, a black wind leopard, and 2 lightning 8. In front of Zhou Jie's absolute strength, these creatures naturally became his points, and the number on his belt's screen became 107. However, under more than 10 times the standard gravity, Zhou Jie also realized that his recovery ability was far from being able to keep up with the consumption. Even with his endurance, it would not be a problem for him to sustain such intense consumption for a few hours, but his strength would definitely continue to decline. If he encountered a creature with more than 100 points at a certain point of fatigue, he felt that he might not be able to take it down. With this in mind, Zhou Jie chose to rest on the spot after about half an hour of hunting. At this time, Zhou Jie already had 330 points on his belt. Because he had taken in too much energy when he was in the White Villa, Zhou Jie recovered very quickly after his first consumption. After about a quarter of an hour, Zhou Jie felt that his body did not have a trace of fatigue, so he started hunting again. This time, after continuously hunting for more than half an hour, Zhou Jie actually discovered a dense thicket for the first time. This made Zhou Jie feel surprised, and at the same time, he also felt that he might have a new discovery. Looks like my intuition is right. This should be the deeper part of the wild forest. The deeper I go, the smaller the distance between the trees. At this point, it has already shrunk to 3 to 5 meters, and there are even more thickets. The number of creatures has also increased. Zhou Jie thought to himself at the same time, and subconsciously glanced at his belt. The screen showed that the points were already more than double from before, a full 740 points. Soon, Zhou Jie climbed over a thicket, but he was shocked by a huge hole behind the thicket. The entrance of the hole was more than 3 meters in diameter, and it curved all the way to the depths of the ground. The depth was at least 5 meters. The depths of the hole were pitch black, and it just happened to face Zhou Jie, so Zhou Jie was slightly shocked. Then, a second later, Zhou Jie's eyes lit up, and he seemed to be a little excited. Such a crypt only made him think of one kind of creature, and that was the crypt guard, which was worth 100 points. Zhou Jie immediately formed the Golden Lotus sword formation, meteor fall, and raised his foot to stomp on the ground. Zhou Jie's stomp had several tons of strength, and the vibration and sound it produced were transmitted to the depths of the crypt, immediately alerting the crypt guard inside. Soon, a huge black figure burst out from the depths of the crypt. Its speed was astonishing, and it pounced straight at Zhou Jie. However, Zhou Jie still saw clearly that the black figure was a hemispherical creature with a black hard shell. It had short but powerful forelegs, and the toenails, equivalent to nails, were very thick and angular. Obviously, not only could it dig through earth and stone, but it could also break metal and penetrate armor without a problem. Zhou Jie reacted very quickly and dodged to the side, causing the crypt guard to miss. Its huge body fell to the ground, and the ground cracked and dust filled the air. The Golden Lotus sword formation followed closely and fell straight down on the crypt guard's head. Poochie! With a dull sound, the crypt guard's thin and small head instantly turned into mud. The whole hunting process did not take more than 2 breaths, but this did not mean that the crypt guard was not strong. Instead, it meant that Zhou Jie's strength was too strong, and his judgment was accurate and neat. Otherwise, if it were a normal grade 10 expert, they would not be able to destroy the crypt guard's weak point in an instant, and it would definitely be impossible to kill the crypt guard so easily. This was because the crypt guard's heavy armor defense was extremely terrifying. When it curled into a ball and rolled away, most grade 10 experts would be helpless against it. His points had reached 840 points. Zhou Jie put away the slight joy in his heart and continued to carefully explore forward. Not long after, the desolate forest began to resemble the periphery of the forest. The ground began to become less dry and cracked, and the number of shrubs had also increased significantly. However, the red-eyed rabbits, black-winged leopards, and other low-point creatures did not appear again. Instead, Zhou Jie discovered 1 or 2 blue sky falcons flying high in the sky. However, because the distance was too far, Zhou Jie did not have any plans to hunt the blue sky falcons for the time being. This was because he felt that might alert the enemy. Moreover, hunting a blue sky falcon flying high in the sky required Zhou Jie to use the power of the sword formation to have enough confidence. That consumption was not worth the loss, and it seemed that there was no need for it at the moment. Zhou Jie continued to explore for a while, and was pleasantly surprised to find a blue sky falcon perched on a tree dozens of meters away, as well as a familiar crypt in a small open space not far from the tree. A blue sky falcon and a crypt guard. Facing 150 points, Zhou Jie could not help but be excited. The Golden Lotus sword flower was immediately activated, and he first launched an attack on the blue sky falcon. For some reason, the blue sky falcon's attention seemed to be focused on the crypt not far away. By the time it sensed the attack of the golden sword, it was already too late to react, and it died under the golden sword in the blink of an eye. Then, Zhou Jie walked toward the crypt. He deliberately made his footsteps heavier, hoping to alarm the crypt guard and make it come out to fight with him. Sure enough, when Zhou Jie was less than 10 meters away from the entrance of the crypt, his mental power sensed that the crypt guard had suddenly rushed out of the crypt and pounced on him like the previous one. In response, Zhou Jie naturally followed the same pattern and successfully killed it with meteor fall, smoothly obtaining another 100 points. As a result, Zhou Jie could not help but smile slightly, because he felt that the crypt guard had become the best target to hunt. Apart from using the sword formation, which consumed a lot of energy, it was really easy to kill. Corresponding to its value of 100 points, it was even more delightful. At that moment, Zhou Jie decided to find as many crypt guards as possible to hunt. This way, he could obtain points quickly, and the difficulty was not too high. In the next 3 hours, Zhou Jie continued to move forward while searching horizontally. He found a total of 3 crypt guards and 2 lightning apes, and he successfully hunted them all. At this point, Zhou Jie's points had reached an astonishing 1,350 points. Then, Zhou Jie rested on the spot for a while. When he moved forward again, there were still about 17 hours before the end of the competition. Just like the previous few hours, Zhou Jie did not forget to explore horizontally as he hurried forward. Although this slowed down a lot, Zhou Jie felt that it was worth it because he had discovered several crypt guards earlier. If he had continued to go straight like before, he definitely would not have discovered those crypt guards. As a result, it was obvious that as he got closer to the center of the forest, it was not a good idea to choose only one direction to move forward. After Zhou Jie continued to explore for more than half an hour, he accidentally discovered a large open space. In that open space, there was a giant golden-scaled beast lying there, seemingly sleeping. This is a giant golden-scaled beast. In an instant, Zhou Jie's pupils shrank slightly. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.